Suomen kovimpiin koitoksiin. Sour Cream Snacks ja Flaming Hot Snacks. Kotikatsomoissa mukana Wilhelm Snacksit.
Hello, everybody. Get hyped, stay hyped. It is the ECL Elite Season 11 Championship Series. I am Drew Goldfarb, joined by my good friend Nick DeMeo. We are going to be joined by Sin and Tugi coming up in just a little bit. We have the first 3 games of this ECL Season 11 Championship Series coming your way today. And Nick, this should be a very interesting matchup as we take a look. Number 1, Philadelphia. Number 3, hREDS. It's good to have you back. And hey, it's going to be talking championship hockey.
I can smell it in the air, Drew, and it's not just the meaty treats that are above my face. No, this is playoff hockey at its finest, and I am very excited to be here again with you, my friend.
We are going to break it all down for you, Nick and I, here as we get you ready for Puck Drop for Game 1. We will have Games 1, 2, and 3 for you today. Games 4, 5, 6, and 7, however many of those may be needed, will be coming your way tomorrow for this series. We will crown a champion this weekend. Today, tomorrow, we will determine who is the ECL Elite Season 11 winner. And the winner, Nick, gets to take home the lion's share of an amazing prize that just keeps getting better season after season for the ECL Elite.
Yeah, NHL Gamer and ECL Elite continues to grow and be the standard of what NHL Esports can be. And they do a great job of it every single season. This is what it all comes down to, my friend. And I'm ready to break it down.
So let's get into it here as we're going to take a look. We want to look at the way things went for these teams during the season. So, Nick, just kind of what jumps out. I mean, Philadelphia, 1 regulation loss in the entire season. 30 games, they lost twice. This team is, I think everybody would have their predictions, their preseason predictions. This was not a team that was an underdog to get back to the finals this season.
Yeah, if you put those people in the Vegas sports books down by you, Drew, you'll know that this is not going to be a huge odds to expect them to be in this position. It's kind of a 2-1, maybe even less than that. I'm not a sports gambler. I don't know. But what I do know is being able to only give up 1 regular season loss in a season like this, in a division like this, no less, says a lot about these players. And these are, at this point, household names in NHL esports. And you can kind of go down the list. Champions, all-stars, globally recognized names. And this is an all-star studded lineup.
Yeah, Vegas odds, you're probably looking at maybe minus 150, minus 200, where you're going to be paying $150 to try to win $100 on that kind of a situation. Just for those who may not be familiar with the American system, which is really weird based on it's okay. Really quick side note. For some reason, sports betting is the only thing the U.S. number system bases on 100, which makes sense for literally everything we don't base 100 on. But for sports betting, it makes it slightly more complicated. You can talk to me on Twitter if you want to know more about that. But anyway, we got to talk some esports hockey because we've got an amazing matchup coming up. These teams were 1-3 in the regular season when they finished up. hREDS has had a basically the most challenging road you could have to a championship. They took down the 2-seed Habu Gaming in the last round, and now they're facing Philadelphia for the championship. This is not a team that has taken a road where they lucked into playing a 6, 7, 8 seed or anything like that in their semifinal matchup. No, they are playing the best of the best to get here.
The best of the best indeed. And as you mentioned, they're a heartbreaker for the number 2 seed falling to hREDS. To put them in this spot, to take it all home for them, a hard-fought road indeed. And that's what it really comes down to, is their grit, their tenacity, and their ability to win games. As you see there, the goals for right there with Havu Gaming, and a 106 league leading.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do much better than that if you're tied for first in goals scored over the course of 30 games. And they've played 10 more in the postseason. They've won 8 of those to get to this point. We want to take a look now at the playoff bracket to show you exactly how we got to this point, because a lot of people were expecting Philadelphia. Like I said, they would be the Vegas betting favorites to make the championship again this year. The other side of the bracket, hREDS, after a sweep in round 1, it took 6 games, but they took down Havu Gaming, a team that we have seen play Philadelphia in the finals in recent seasons. And if anybody had any doubts that hREDS was a legit threat, a 4-2 series win against a team like Havu should eliminate all of that.
Yeah, I just remember a couple of months ago, we were playing the Boston Red Sox, New York Yankees storyline there with Philadelphia and Havu, and here comes the upset. But not really an upset, because you look at the other side, and these are names that we also know going around the list here, and we'll break down the matchup shortly. Nothing to shake a stick at here with hREDS, giving up 6 losses in the regular season, making their way through the playoffs here, sweeping as well in the first round. And you see the roads here are relatively the same, except one could argue battling things in the semifinals. Probably harder for hREDS to do.
Yeah, so they got that big test in the last round. Philadelphia, again, nothing against the competition they have played. Just a fantastic team. Only 2 losses entirely during the regular season. 1 came against hREDS. That was way back. That was week 1, game 1, matchup 1 for these teams. It was actually game 2, technically. It was the first series of the season where Philadelphia was handed one of its only 2 losses in their 30 regular season games. Let's take a look at the way these teams match up. It's been a long time since we've seen them on the same sheet of virtual ice. And this is kind of how the numbers match up when you're talking about the playoffs. And very similar, hREDS and Philadelphia. hREDS has played 1 additional game, so kind of keep that in mind when you're doing your mental division for the goals per game scored and allowed. But incredibly comparable so far in this postseason.
That's exactly right. And this is another one of those sports puns we like to throw in at the beginning of the games, Drew. You rank this in boxing, it's 10-9, 9-10, 10-9, 9-10. Split right down the middle as far as stats go. And what that equates to are teams that are hungry, one with a bigger mission in mind, and that is to take down the big dog in the fight. And they are posed to do that here tonight.
Roman Reigns and Philadelphia do go back quite a ways, so I appreciate that big dog reference on that. Even though I don't think you intended, I'm going to make that. We will see who the head of the table is by the end of this weekend, hREDS or Philadelphia as well. Hopefully someone who's watching picks up on these WWE references. But we now want to take a look at the lineups. We're going to see who it is that jumps out, who would be part of the dynasty on either side here for these teams. And again, as you mentioned, names on one side that have been household names for a while, and on the other side, you can make the argument they are whatever names may not have been household names entering the season are sure making the case that they should be this season.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when you look at somebody like Nicky Dangles, who's kind of risen through the ranks in a very fantastic kind of way. On the left side of this screen, you're looking at here, Yoki on fire right now. I expect big things out of him. And as well as King of Apes, seeing what he can do offensively for his team from the back. On the other side there, Drew, is to counter that, 2 of the best defensive people in esports sixes to date, Jay Toro and Loimu. They speak the same language on the ice. They know where they're moving. What I mean by that is they know where the other person is at all times. And they're just one complete unit. And they're going to be a tough line of defense to break here in front of Cape.
Now, before we get into breaking down position by position, seeing how these teams match up against each other, we are going to go to our nominees for one of the many awards we're going to be telling you about during this weekend. We're going to bring a number of them to you today and the rest tomorrow. And for the first one, we're talking about the most underrated forward as voted on by the athletes of the ECL Elite, and they are coming onto your screen now. These guys again, when you're talking about people who should be household names, these are the players that have made their case that they should be taken as seriously as the top players in the league.
That's right. Most underrated forward. And congratulations to the nominees. We have a lot of these to talk about all through the broadcast, and we'll be excited and honored to present these award recipients and nominees here tonight.
So we will tell you who wins this award coming up in just a bit, and we'll have other awards as well. But right now, what we want to do is we want to kind of take a little bit of a look back. We want to do the rewind, as we're calling it, before we get into these positional matchups as we get set for hREDS and Philadelphia in the championship series.
Welcome to the Rewind. Here, we're going to take a look at the X's and O's on the virtual ice between hREDS and Philadelphia. Good things, bad things, and all things in between. Here are the key things that we noticed. So let's talk about hREDS and their quick strike ability. Something amazingly wonderful was their quick strike offense against high caliber teams. All of their goals in this series so far not only came in the transition, but all their goals were scored in under 5 seconds of entering Philadelphia's zone. Watch it again here. Quick transition, gets in the zone, big quick pass, slap shot, and even though it hit off of a body, still buried it in the defense, coming in strong to make that goal go in a handful of seconds. And here it is again, a steal, moving the puck out with a great poke check, and coming back down in transition. The counterattack in the rush, leading to a backhand goal, that one in less than 4 seconds in the zone. Now on the other side, something we always talk about is blue line play, specifically right here, leaving a man open up the right side. All well and fine until Yoki steps right into the middle of the ice, bang, up the right side, lots of room to generate an offensive opportunity. They have to communicate. If somebody's going to press up there to make that play on the middle of the ice, another person needs to come in behind to counter and make up that gap. That didn't happen here, and this could have led to a bigger scoring chance, and luckily, they were able to clear the zone. Now watch it again here. We have a great trap set up until, look at the right side, centerman wide open and drives the lane, puts it in down low, and another offensive generation. This one is a little bit more dangerous. As you see here, they're working the puck around the outside, and they put in a shot that you'll see that gets tipped by that centerman that took the puck in the first place. So these two men need to communicate to each other, specifically because free zone entries means free possessions. Free possessions mean scoring opportunities. That leads to goals. You can't let that happen at this point, especially against top caliber teams. Now let's take a look at Philadelphia. Great at a lot of things, but I want to point this out specifically against hREDS, how efficient they are at noticing opposing D-men when caught up ice, even the slightest bit, and they take advantage of that with their speed. As Philadelphia moves up the ice here, notice Timu just a bit too far up the ice. Now that leads to Playmaker streaming up the ice, finding a great pass by Jay Toro and hitting Playmaker with his speed. He beats Timu, creating a 2-on-1 opportunity, which luckily for hREDS, misses just wide, but that's a dangerous chance that you don't want to give up with speed from the opposing team. Now, what's bad for one is bad for two. This happened a lot of times in both games for hREDS. King of Apes here caught trying to join in on the attack, so now both D-men getting beat, and Timu with just a bit hesitation on the left stick. That's all it takes for Eki to use his speed, and now they get a breakaway goal to tie the game. And look at that Tucky here, tugging it right past Fincona. Now, when talking about last line of defense, look at this D-to-D pass. Picked off real quick. You gotta watch out where Yoki is. His speed will cause damage, and taking advantage of a D-to-D pass there for a near pick six. That is until Kape with a breakaway save, his third one of that series, but still can't make those mistakes, especially against this team. Now, if that pick six looks familiar, let's take a look at this one. Off the boards, and bang, right here after this pass, picked off yet again. He pulled off the same thing against Havu last week in the semifinals. It's clearly a part of his game, and Philadelphia needs to know where he is on the ice so they don't make the same mistake.
Very well done. A great look back here for Philadelphia and hREDS as they get set for games 1, 2, and 3 tonight in their championship series. And Nick, yeah, I mean, these are two really good teams, and it can come down to, as we were seeing towards the end of that video, just that kind of small, quick mistake can be the difference maker when you're talking about two teams of this caliber.
Yeah, when we talk about EU, ECL Elite, we talk about teams that are at the highest caliber, highest performing ability. So it's more of a play as close to a perfect game as you can, and then capitalize on mistakes. That's really the difference maker. Both these teams know how to play on the ice. That's not the question. The question is, what do you do when the other team makes a mistake? When that playbook changes just a bit, are you able to react appropriately, make those decisions, and then capitalize with a goal? As you saw there, couple of times they did, couple of times they didn't. They got to clean those things up, particularly in the transition play, as we saw. And that's going to be fun to watch, but it all starts with the centerman, I do think, Drew.
Yeah, so let's take a look at the centers here and see how they stack up from side to side. This is their matchup. These are their playoff numbers. All the stats that you see on your screen are in the postseason, and quite the playoff start for Benito there for hREDS. 17 points in 10 games. That's amazing.
Amazing indeed. 17 points in 10 games. On the other side, with Padslef, league leading first in assists. So generating goals a foot and a plenty on both sides. Talking about Benito, though, 4 game-winning goals, 45 shots, both second and first, respectively, there. So this is not only a person that can win faceoffs and generate things for his offense, but then also put the puck in the back of the net. You need that in a centerman, especially right now.
Let's take a look at the guys that are going to be helping them out on the offensive push. That would be the winger matchup. So we're going to have the 2 wings on both sides and see how it is that they stack up. And when you're looking for goal numbers, Yoki, 11 goals, averaging better than a goal a game this postseason. Really just an amazing performance for him. And I mean, 2 points a game and a goal a game is incredible.
Yeah, you can't expect much more than a point per game from one player, especially at this level where shots are low, goals are sometimes even lower than that, as we'll get into the defensive stats here shortly. Heck of a performance to get to this point, and I think him and Nicky Dangles are really starting to connect in a different way. On the other side, there's 2 wingers here that have known their way around the ice for a long time, Playmaker and Eki. Both of these players have won championships in the EU and sometimes global events as well. And you see that there in their performance too. It's almost right down the middle, 18 points apiece, and there's a good reason for that.
Now, Nick, before we get into the defense, we do want to talk about I had an opportunity to catch up with Eki just ahead of this matchup, and it's interesting what I think that he had to say in his interview getting ready for his matchup against hREDS.
I think so, Drew. So let's do that. Let's listen to what you had to say with Eki. I think Eki's an amazing person to talk to, sees the game at a very high level, and looking forward to what his comments were going into tonight's matchup.
Thanks very much. I'm joined now by Eki from Philadelphia. Eki, I think most people were expecting that you and your team would be making it back to the finals yet again, but I think the matchup might be surprising some people. They thought maybe you would be playing Havu Gaming. It's happened so many times in the recent past. How does the fact that you aren't playing Havu in the finals impact the preps that you're doing going into the series?
Not really in any way. And I wouldn't say for us it's really that big of a surprise. Before the season started, we actually thought reds was a better team than Havu because of Havu's changes to the lineup. But Reds actually disappointed me a bit in the regular season, but towards the end of the season and in the playoffs, they kind of got it going, and it was a tight series with Havu, and they pulled it off. Credit to them, but it doesn't really affect our preparation. We focus on our own game.
Did you have any kind of rooting interest when you were watching that other semifinal match? Because obviously, I mean, people would think that getting the chance to kind of get some payback for last year's championship may have been on your mind a bit. Did that cross your mind at all when you were watching the other series play out?
At least not for me at all. I didn't really care who won the series. There's more friends of mine playing for Havu, but at the same time, we played them in so many finals. It's actually nice to get some, how you say it, maybe some change. I think it's a bit more entertaining to the viewers that the same 2 teams aren't in the finals every year.
So you do have a new opponent. You obviously played them once this season, but that was way back. That was the very beginning of the season, the first series, in fact. How much can you take away from that matchup as you prepare for this one in the finals? Or is that too long ago to really put any stock into what happened when you guys went head-to-head?
I wouldn't put any focus on that game. That was the first games of the season. A lot of stuff has changed for us and for them as well, I'm sure. But At the end of NHL 20, we played them in the Finnish Championship semifinals with their exact same roster. So we've played them before in tough situations, and we kind of know what to expect.
How do you go into preparing for the finals? Because obviously you've been here before, and are you watching any game film on hREDS? How do you go about preparing as an individual or as a team?
We don't watch that much film of the other teams. It's mostly about watching. I'm sure pretty much every one of our players watched the complete semifinal series between Havo and Reds, and like I said, we know Reds players pretty well. So not a lot of scouting. You could additional scouting, but yeah, we just mostly focus on our own game. We feel like if we play our best, we are really tough to beat, no matter who we face. So we're just trying to play a couple games every day, keep in touch, you could say.
You guys have played as a team in the finals a number of times, and you guys definitely have more experience in this round than your opponents do. Does that give you any sort of advantage? Were there any butterflies like the first time you made the finals in the ECL Elite, or do you think that it's just another game like that your opponents are preparing for, or might they have some butterflies for this one?
I feel like you're always a bit nervous in big games, especially before they start. But playing them more and more, of course, helps. So I feel like we have an advantage there in tight situations. Of course, their players have played in multiple tough games as well, but I feel like our team overall has more experience.
Now, that's obviously one of the differences. When you're comparing you to your opponents, what stands out aside from that experience as being the differences, and maybe in the style of play or in anything that you kind of see that makes you guys different and unique teams?
I feel like Reds overall, their players think more about offense, so they are really offensive minded. Their offense relies, I think, heavily on counterattacks, and then they trap the blue line. We played a bit differently. Most of the time, we try to forecheck with play and put some pressure on their defenders. But at the same time, I feel like we score most of our goals in counterattacks as well. So I feel like in that sense we are quite similar. But I feel like our team is just a bit more defensive minded, and you can see that in the stats as well. We had the least amount of goals allowed in the regular season, and I think Reds scored the most in the regular season. So yeah.
Speaking of scoring goals and stopping goals, you're going up against a former goaltender, guy you're very familiar with in Fincona. How does that impact your preparations? And do you think that a goalie and forwards, defenseman on the opposite team having such familiarity benefits the attacking players, or does it benefit the goalie who might have seen you guys in practice and played behind you for so long?
I think that's really individual. It can go one way or another, but at least from my point of view, I think it's at least for me, it's a good thing because Fincona played for us for a year pretty much, and he's a good friend of mine, and I've seen him play in many situations, and I know kind of what he likes to do, and I know everyone in our team knows as well. So I would like to say it's an advantage for us, but you never know.
Going into this series, what are you expecting out of this championship round? Is there any prediction that you want to share with us?
Nah, I'm playing in the series, so it feels kind of wrong to predict. But I feel confident in our team, and if we play our game, I think Reds will have a tough time of beating us.
Any final message that you want to provide to us, the people who are watching? Any other thoughts you want to give?
No, not really. Everybody who's just supported Philadelphia in this season, thank you. And I guess there's nothing else. Then hopefully we have a good finals and bring a good show to you guys.
Eki, thank you so much for your time and best of luck in the championship.
Yeah, thank you.
And you can see now the matchup for the defensemen, the first line of defense against Eki and the Philadelphia forwards on the left side of your screen there. hREDS, a really strong defensive pairing there, Nick.
Yeah, can we talk about King of Apes for a second? The offensive D-man in ECL Elite. He's had a stellar performance through the regular season, has slowed down a little bit in offensive production here in the playoffs, kind of as expected, but that's a good pair there on the left side that they're going to have to contend with, and they're ready.
And of course, you can see the numbers on your screen as well for Philadelphia. They've got a great defensive pairing in their own right, and Jay Toro with some big offensive numbers in the postseason, 2 goals, 9 assists through 9 games played. But yeah, when we talk about King of Apes, the postseason numbers are great. The regular season numbers were record-setting. That was how good he was offensively in this regular season. 16 goals in 30 games for that defenseman.
16 goals, and we hope that he looks to replicate that here and tack on a couple of more. He's already got 10 in the playoffs so far. Will he hit that 16? Time will tell. It's going to be a long shot, but if he can generate some more offense for his team, they're going to be on their way to success.
And finally, the last line of defense in keeping pucks out of the virtual net, that would be the goaltenders. And this is a phenomenal matchup between the pipes here, because you've got 2 goalies, Cape, who set the record, the all-time record for shutouts in a single regular season. And then you've got on the other side a guy who half of his wins in this postseason have been shutouts. It's incredible.
Yeah, you talk about the offense from these teams, and then you look at the goalies and you go, I don't know how some of these players score on some of these goalies, because they're at 1.34 or 1.30, 1.44 goals against average. Just a little bit more than 1 per game. That's not something that's easy to do defensively in NHL 21, where we know there's just so much offensive firepower that you have to contend with. It takes a team effort, but it also takes, as my favorite coach, I'm going to be a little bit biased with the homer here, the Tampa Bay Lightning coach, John Cooper, says, good goalies make the saves they should make. Great goalies make the ones you don't expect them to make, and that's kind of the case here. We see Cape and Fincona both just stellar performances when they got to get their team out of a bad situation.
And you may notice both of these goaltenders wearing that same orange and black hoodie, and that plays into Eki's previous comments about Fincona being a former member of this team, so an opportunity to go head-to-head with his old teammates in the championship round. Now, we gave you the nominees for the underrated forward of the year, of the season, for the ECL Elite earlier, and now, Nick, it is time to reveal, which will be revealed to us as well, the winner of the most underrated forward in the ECL Elite Season 7, as voted on by the players themselves.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Let's see.
Patslov, that one makes sense. I mean, when you're looking at a guy like this, the centerman for Philadelphia, just a fantastic performance during the regular season and playoffs, 7 goals, 3 assists through the first 9 games. In a field on a team with the amount of talent that surrounds him, I guess he can kind of get a little bit lost in that shuffle because of just how much talent is on that Philadelphia team. So I have no issue with him being named the most underrated forward in the league this season, and congratulations to him.
Yeah, like you said, it's hard to pick out a talent in a pool of greats. So underrated, definitely deserved here. And congratulations to Patslov for winning the most underrated forward award.
And now we want to tell you the nominees for underrated defender of the season, because we're going to be telling you the winner of this one coming up after game number 1. We're going to take a look at the nominees for the most underrated defender in the league. Well, surprise, we're going to show you the winner as well. Spoiler alert, if you looked at your screen, just pretend that you didn't see that. Both defensemen for Knights. That is really impressive to see them both nominated. And congratulations again, Philadelphia, Jay Toro on there as well, representing in this game here. None of us saw who the winner was. That we're saving that. That'll happen later. But really impressive to see Knights represented not just by one, but by both of their defensemen, considered underrated defenders by the rest of the league.
Someone doesn't put that on World Star in the next 2 minutes, I'm upset.
All right. Well, before we get into the game broadcast, we got to go for the keys to the game. The Flaming Hot Takes. This is a Wilhelm-sponsored show, so that is what we're referring to as the keys. Nick, get us those keys. Give us those early morning here. Well, on the West Coast, I guess it's not that early morning, but these afternoon puns going into this first game.
Oh, we're ready indeed. And this goes back to what we talked about all through the pre-games here, Drew. For hREDS, let's get into the keys to the game here. When it comes to hREDS, we want to talk that talk. We have to communicate more. We saw that in the rewind, in a lot of the breakdowns. Easy zone entries. That just leads to bad things, and you cannot give up easy zone entries to a team like Philadelphia. They're just going to capitalize in totality, Drew. And then moving forward, firing the cannons. Fire the cannons. I had to bring up my Tampa Bay Buccaneers reference. I had to do it. The quick strike ability, the Gene Deckerhoff-esque ability to score in mere seconds every time they get in the zone. They just need to continue to do that and find their ways in loops through the middle and work the outside, work the middle if you're an Aaliyah fan, and either way, score when they can and do it quickly. And then last but not least, return of the king. I just mentioned this, King of Apes, slower production in the playoffs. If he can continue to do that for the playoffs here in the finals, I think he can ramp things up and really be someone that this whole team can rely on to put that maybe extra point on the board for his squad.
And Philadelphia, obviously the number one team in the league. This is not their first rodeo here. They're not their first visit to the championship matchup. What are their keys to picking up the season 11 title?
Well, for Philadelphia, Phila go brrr. The speed on the outside is detrimental to whoever they face. That's the same case here. They use their speed excellently, and they're able to just change direction, change pace, and kind of keep the defense on their toes. They look to replicate that here as well. And they're going to do that with the help of the game winner. 5 game-winning goals in the playoffs so far for Eki. Man, I don't expect anything less of a player like that. He is a very soft-spoken individual off the ice, on that virtual ice, a marksman, and he does so in numbers. You can see it right there. And last but not least, Kape, Stonewall, no cap there. Shout out 21 Savage. 4 shutouts in the playoffs, 12 in the regular season. It's almost like once you get through the defense, then you have a whole other set of things to worry about in the goalie. You have to work your way around that. So that's going to be a hard thing to do for the offense for hREDS. Philadelphia just defensively sound.
Regular season and postseason, Kape's record overall 36-1-2 when he has been between the pipes. That is Philadelphia's record this season and postseason. Now, Nick and I are going to be coming back for intermissions and for postgame as well, but we want to welcome in the other members of our broadcast here. We get to go a little Brady Bunch for you because we've got Tugi and Sin who will be on the call for all games, up to 7 in this series. Hi, guys. How's it going? I got to, see, oh, hey, look at that. Get to wave to everybody. This is the way we all became the Brady Bunch. And Tugi and Sin, this is going to be a great matchup, and we're looking to see if not just that they can basically raise the bar, but they are the bar for this one. We will see who it is that sets that bar and becomes the season 11 championship. I really just wanted to make that reference so that Nick and I could do the Cesaro and Sheamus hand gesture.
I'm here for
trying
it.
to bring some European flair here from the U.S. So Tugi and Sin, we're really into this game. What do you got to going into game number 1, the first of a best of 7?
Well, first and foremost, thank you guys for your tremendous work here with the pregame. Sin and I, high above ice level on the virtual side of things. The only thing brighter than the lights happens to be this shirt. The only thing brighter than this shirt happens to be the stars on the ice for this series. I have been here for just about every single broadcast this season, and it's incredible that we've already hit the finals here, and as Sin and I look to take over this particular cast here, I mean, again, it's one of those things that you look forward to all year, who's going to be able to make it, and we thought all season long, people in chat were calling it too during hREDS playoff games. Oh, it's going to be Philadelphia and Havu, guaranteed. No way they don't make it to the final. Havu's made it every year since season 7. There's no way that it's going to be another team involved unless one of the top 2 teams break up. And hREDS had something to say about that, which makes this broadcast, I'd say, that much more interesting. Even though, of course, the normal go-to El Clasico, I certainly wouldn't have complained about calling that either.
No, absolutely not. I mean, you look at hREDS and Havu, they had such a similar play style, and it's incredibly impressive to see how hREDS have really built themselves up. We talked about it a bit in the last season, how perhaps Yippee Voskala and hREDS could turn that big 2 into a big 3 or 4, and I think it's official now. hREDS here in the finals taking on Philadelphia. No matter what happens, hREDS have really, really put themselves in a position to be considered a top 3 here in ECL Elite.
So if I'm not mistaken here, are we good to go? Are we ready to take over and get ready for game one? So I think we have hearing from our producer, we have a couple of minutes to burn here, all things considered. Now, Sin and I, of course, well averse to having to fill for time here, all things considered. But I want to know from Drew and from Nick here, obviously, we can sit here and talk about, okay, here's how this is going to play out. Here are the stats. Here's how it's going to go. But this is something I haven't really been able to do too much this season, like I do to Sin all the time, and that's put you guys on the hot seat. I'm not going to say call for a winner here, all things considered, but this first game, who's going to set the tempo?
I'll let Nick go first.
Setting the tempo. I would like to see something out of Yoki at the level we saw in the regular season, where he's just somebody that you really have to keep 2 or 3 sets of eyes on, and in those party chats, talking it out, identifying where he is, because he's just sneaky. Like, I don't understand it. He's got the pink pylon, but it's sneaky. He comes out of nowhere like a ninja, takes the puck and moves it the other way. So if we're talking about breaking the cycle, breaking the norm of what a play looks like and what people are used to, Yoki can disrupt that, and I do look for that to happen here on the ice in the first game.
I'm actually looking between the pipes. Kape and Fincona both, I think, have an opportunity to really set the tone. You said for game one, you said it doesn't have to be for the whole series, but for me, it is for the whole series, because the first one of them that can steal a goal away from the opposition, I think has a real big opportunity and a big chance to really be the one that sets the tempo, at least for the day. You won't know how much 1, 2, and 3 will carry over into tomorrow as far as something like that goes. Obviously, if you can go up 2-1, great. If you can go up 3-0, even better. But I really think that the first goalie to basically steal a goal off the board is going to be the way to kind of set that tempo. And I think that the pressure might be on Fincona to try and play up to Kape, because we know what he is capable of. And so for Fincona, if he could basically say, it ain't just one amazing goalie in this matchup, there are absolutely 2. I think he's got a real opportunity to make a difference early on that could really set the tempo for all 3 games we're going to see today.
So with that said, we got to look here at the teams, of course, for hREDS right now. Quite a few of them in the same location as well. And I think a big talking point for this particular series, of course, over the next 2 days, the advantage that might have. We've seen it before with the likes of Philadelphia and Havu as well for these finals. Of course, an in-person LAN event would be great given the circumstances. Not quite possible, of course. But what kind of advantage could that have for their sake of communication in the series?
It does seem to... There's something else about being together. It's something that we've learned, time and time again. I think throughout this whole, the situation going on in the world right now is that, the connection when you're in the same room, there's a certain extra little bit of energy that I think gets passed between these guys. And, communication can happen a bit quicker, especially when you consider party chat oftentimes is slightly delayed. So if you can make those call outs of a winger breaking, deep, you can maybe get a defender on them quickly, which, goes back to what Nick was talking about, how quick Yoki can be and how sneaky he can be. If you can call that out quicker, get someone on him and not allow him to be that incredible catalyst for offense that he so often is, you could be in good shape.
Absolutely. So again, just a few moments away from puck drop here, of course. And I personally have to say I'm excited here. I know some people had taken offense to it, all things considered, but I'm gonna shout out Potsloff here as well. Underrated in name only, of course, winning our Best of the Rest award for the forwards that didn't quite make that top level cut. He is the all-time leading scorer in ECL playoff history, so I can understand why might be upset about the phrasing there, all things considered. Let's call Wayne Gretzky underrated. Why not? He might be even better than you thought. Or, ultimately, for Drew's sake, as of course, as a Penguins fan, we'll call out Mario Lemieux as the best of all time. That way I don't get, any strange glares heading my way. The death stare from Barbsy. Everyone wants to avoid that, of course. There you go. There it is.
I now have the ability to actually do like a Brady Bunch death stare, which would have really changed the dynamic of that entire show.
Good.
The openings with Marcia just giving the evil eye to Greg across the the chart. That would have been something.
The NHL Gamer Line Brawl coming to a stream near you. Will Saturday be a showdown here amongst the 4 of us? Time will tell. Sin will stand tall for reasons that I'm not going to mention, but that the other 2 are well aware of. As Sin, There you have it. We are just about ready to go. Thank you, of course, to Drew and Nick. We will see you two a little bit later on in this broadcast. And again, a friendly reminder to the Finnish contingent in the chat. Hashtag Mukana Wilhelm, of course, for a chance to win. Some nice little free Wilhelm products, of course. Some gift card action there. So make sure, of course, to drop hashtag Mukana Wilhelm in chat to have your chance to win. And, of course, we'll have some information in the chat as well, where you can also happen to win on Instagram. So again, a big shout out to our sponsor. It is Wilhelm, of course. Sin, it is time. Game 1 puck drop underway and an offside in record time, just 10 seconds in.
Yeah, you can see the hREDS mentality, that was the Philadelphia mentality, sneaking Playmaker in there. We talked about, Yoki being sneaky as well. Philadelphia right off that opening draw, trying one of those split the D plays with a winger going up the middle. Almost worked out for him, but the offsides will create a reset, and we'll see if that neutral zone battle starts to play out.
So again, in this series here on this broadcast, hREDS going north. Of course, Philadelphia going south, and we'll see how this one plays out. Of course, in 2 early offsides here. We've talked about it all season long, the constantly evolving style of play where we've had much more fast-paced games, less defensive and neutral zone struggles, mainly due, I'd say, to the different in player types. The meta, of course, with the playmakers and the puck-moving defensemen. Wouldn't know how to call it aside from how many offsides we might see here, but time will tell as the series moves along. Shot on there, kick stop by Finn Kona, Playmaker, registering that first chance. Of course, keep your eye out for him. We have seen the incredible goal-scoring track record. Of course, another one of the all-time top players here in the history of the ECL playoffs. Sin, heading action today. Playmaker, second all-time in terms of playoff goals. One behind the most underrated forward in Potslav.
Yeah, I mean, it's impressive. There's so much star power on this team. And then there's hREDS here on the attack as well, almost, but good recovery there from Philadelphia to stop that in their own zone. But yeah, I mean, the star power coming out. Then hREDS, kind of the underdog story, the new kids on the block looking to make waves here in the final.
7 minutes gone here in this first period. Starting to see a little bit more north-south action. Puck below the goal line. Quick give and go amongst the wingers. Chance in front. Good opportunity for Benito. Just not able to get on the other end of that one. See what Philadelphia can do in response here. Good pass. Able to find Playmaker once more. A couple of quick passes and a shot on. Taken to the chest by Finn Kona. An offensive zone draw coming up here for Philadelphia. Sin, it's a key. How well is Benito going to do on the draws?
Yeah, and that was Jay Toro sneaking his way into the slot right there. One of the best goal scorers of defensemen throughout the course of the regular season.
And it's again thrown in front off the pads. A penalty drawn here, though. It's going to be hREDS going to the power play and interference call. Not sure who that one was against. It is Playmaker who's going to be taking a seat. I'd like to get a look at this one, maybe looking for a shot. And that is a very, very light call. But a power play nonetheless for hREDS here.
Yeah, and they're going to want to try to capitalize on it. They were 25% throughout the regular season. We'll see what they could do here. Good clearing attempt right there, but just hit a body. I like what he was doing, going for the boards right there, and it just didn't work out. We'll see hREDS if they can reset and enter that zone again.
And here we go. That hREDS power play going to work, having a little bit of trouble reestablishing the offensive zone. They do here. Crafty drop pass, gets it back. Pass shot and blocked out in front once more. Failure to clear, though. Benito draws the trip. 5-on-3 perhaps coming up. Puck loose just wide of the post. Still held in. Slap shot on, and Kape makes the stop. Sin, 5-on-3. Uncharacteristically poor discipline here from Philadelphia.
Yeah, absolutely. And hREDS with a huge chance to get the early advantage in this game.
Tie up, a pass was thrown on. Kape sweeps that one aside. Held up at the point. Working their way in. Benito on the doorstep. Can't put that one home, but kept in the zone here. 10 seconds to go on the 5-on-3. Poked away once more and cleared. Great job by the Philadelphia PK unit there. Minute 10 to go until we're back to 5-on-5.
Yeah, we get some help with Playmaker out of the box now, but hREDS once again able to gain the zone.
Here's King of Apes looking. Can't get the play and cleared out again. Tremendous work from Philadelphia here. And Sin, honestly, that can be one of the tough aspects of an early power play, even a 5-on-3 so early into the first game of a series, as you're not exactly warmed up perhaps like you want to be. Just a little bit of poor execution here as Benito still fighting for it below the goal line. We are back to 5-on-5. That one blocked down in front. Good opportunity for Yoki. Here comes Philadelphia. Playmaker out of the box. Going to try to chase this one down in the corner. Great pressure there, and he does win it. Quick dish back to the point. And again down low. In front, shot, scores! It's Potzloff in front. The captain makes it happen. Philadelphia has the opening goal here in Game 1.
And that's what can happen from those failed power plays. A momentum swings in the other direction. Philadelphia killing off the 5-on-3. You see the fist bumps coming out. Back to the 5-on-4. Excellent patience coming out from Potzloff right there, who waits for Fincona to make a move. Slides over just a bit far from the left, leaving that top right corner open, and he picks it. No mistakes made. 1-0 Philadelphia.
Tremendous start there. Kick-started by some fantastic penalty-killing work. Surviving a 5-on-3 to get the opening goal. It's a rough start for hREDS here against, and you talk about the importance of making a statement here in this first game. Walking away with that win to really set the tone for this best of 7. Yeah, it's a pretty rough start here, but again, it's all about the response, as we've seen throughout every division in the playoffs so far.
Yeah, and right now, hREDS, kind of some miscues right there. A bit of a slower pass around the board, a missed sauce right there. They're going to have to just settle down here. You know, they're not in too bad a shape quite yet.
Yoki not able to find his way with that one. Here comes Zeki. Pass over. This is Loimu stepping up. Shot on. Kick stop there by Fincona. Rebound. Handled by the defense in front of him. Now under 3.5 to go. And again, hREDS struggling to get over that blue line with possession. Good movement here once more. Potzloff trying to hold on to it. Not able to do so. See what they can do down the other side here. Yoki trying to hold on to it along the half wall. And again, too much pressure. Good follow-up poke check by Benito to knock that one loose. But again, Philadelphia, the composure in their own zone, on point, as you would expect. They see this as a major opportunity to reclaim that crown that they lost last year to Havu. Again, without having to go through Havu. Shot deflection bid, still loose in the crease, and Fincona is just able to find that one before the extra attacker was able to get in front.
Yeah, another kind of heart-stopping moment there from hREDS as another rebound took place, and that's always scary as a goaltender when that puck is sitting right there in front of you and you just, can't get the cover on it.
Big glove save there as well. Great job getting that shot through the traffic for Loimu. And then we talk about that defense pairing for Philadelphia as well, the goal-scoring abilities that we have seen. Jay Toro with 10, Loimu with 5 on the season. Both numbers perhaps a little bit lower than we would have expected. Rebound bid there. That's a great read by King of Apes. 6 seconds here for hREDS to maybe get something going here, at least get a shot on, and again, nowhere to go. That was the story after that 5-on-3 kill. Philadelphia tightening up defensively and getting the goal down the other way.
Yeah, and that's something Philadelphia did so well throughout the entire year. Our best defensive team across the ECL Elite, and with how many teams out there had great goal scoring, it's an impressive feat. We talked about it a little bit at the tail end of the regular season when they played Havu and actually shut them out. And something that you don't expect to see, especially against, these two teams. Oftentimes, someone's going to get a goal, but here it's just those layers of defense that we love to talk about so often. It's where you attack that puck area that can matter so much, and that's what Philadelphia is doing. They're timing it perfectly right at the line. 1-2 bodies there, cutting off not only a passing lane, but the entry and, getting a stick on it. Puck support there, they kick it out and get the transition back the other way. It's so fluid right now from Philadelphia. hREDS are going to have to clean that up. That being said, do have some registered shots, do have some time on attacks. Good passing, all things considered, but 0 for 2 on that power play. It's got to seem like a bit of a missed opportunity here after that first period.
So again, you get a look here at the team's calm composure, of course, from this Philadelphia lineup. And actually, Sim, we do get a look. A couple of the members of the team in the same room as well. So we talked about it, the advantage that hREDS might have. Philadelphia have some members of the team together as well. So again, that communication advantage, maybe not there. All things considered, like we said, would have been great for everybody to be in the same room. Doesn't happen that way. And right now, so far for Philadelphia, the exact kind of start they were looking for here. Solidify that defense and, of course, get that early goal. We do see another early offside, though, here in the opening minute.
Yeah, good job from hREDS to kind of, start patrolling their own blue line. The one thing, obviously Nick touched on it, you do not want to give away easy zone entries, especially with speed, and that's something both of these teams are good at, and it looks to be something that they're both trying to defend against.
Good protection there. Teemu trying to work things out. Nicky Dangles dropping it back. Of course, look for Nicky Dangles here as well. It's more miscommunication here, some rough breaks from King of Apes and Teemu to try and get the puck up to the wingers. Space here for Benito. Has a step and draws the trip. No penalty shot, perhaps controversially, but it will be the third power play of the game for hREDS. Rough break there.
Definitely. That's one of those things. I mean, they just came with speed and were able to find a little bit of gap, unable to come away with that face-off win, though. Again, hREDS lose the zone immediately on the power play.
Defenseman Loimu taking the penalty. Let's see how that affects them. Chance here, pass over. Great job by Eki. Get in front of the man on that one. Trouble there. Turned over, great movement. Shot on glove, saved by Kape Sin. Talk about composure. He wasn't fazed by that passing whatsoever. Picture perfect positioning there.
No, absolutely not. Setting an incredible record with 12 shutouts in the regular season. Looks to be on his game here in the finals.
Again, back down low. Nicky Dangles to the wing. A wraparound bid. Kape is there to seal off the post. So under siege right now, but standing tall. Not really all that surprising, Sin, is it, after setting the all-time shutout record this season? Of course, was covered in the pregame there. 9-4, the advantage on the draws. hREDS able to win this one as well, though, to keep it alive. Teemu back down low to Nicky Dangles. Keeps going over to his off wing. Good movement, Benito. Circles back. Again back to the point, looking for space. Yoki back over, pass in front, still loose. Benito covers, tries to throw one on. No space there. Philadelphia doing a great job of shutting it down. They clear it out, and they are now being successful. 3 for 3 on the PK in this game.
Yeah, and that's great for Philadelphia, and something that hREDS is going to have to consider. All of their registered shots right now coming on the power play.
D-Maker rifles one through the slot. Eki just not able to get a hold of that one. A close call there for hREDS. Hopefully a wake-up call, all things considered. Philadelphia, again, right now, despite the penalty trouble, in control of this game. Frustrating moment for it to not be a penalty shot. Again, hREDS not able to make the best of it. Chance here. Jay Toro having a little bit of trouble. Nicky Dangles, we've talked about his improvements on the defensive side of things. Paying off there. Shot. Eki not able to get that one through. Rebound was handled well by Teemu. Turnover here by King of Apes, though. Lotzloff still trying to fight for it. Jay Toro stepping in again to keep that puck alive. Playmaker's shot blocked down in front. See Yoki try to work it down the other way. Here's Teemu stepping in, sauces it across, shot on by Nicky Dangles. And a weak one at that, taken away at the last moment. We approach the midway point of the second period. There's a great pass. Playmaker has space, but can't cut in front. Teemu doing a really good job of shutting things down there. But Stan, right now, you look at these two offenses. Obviously, Philadelphia is looking the more likely to score.
Yeah, I mean, it's starting to open up a bit, but I like what Philadelphia is doing. A lot of low shots looking for rebounds. Any goal will do, and that's what they're looking for here.
Here's Eki below the goal line, looking, and a chance on the line, and it's held by Fincona. Unbelievable opportunity there. A real life flashing before your eyes moment for hREDS. Still lucky, I'd say, at this rate, to only be down by a goal.
Yeah, beautiful pass from behind the net to that short side opportunity. Just couldn't tuck it home.
King of Apes tried to feed it in front, nowhere to go. Actually, Teemu who's pinching up there. We know hREDS like to get the defense involved. This unfortunate breaks on both sides of the ice here. Great work to find Eki in stride. There's nowhere to go, though, as he tries to cut in front. Teemu was there again, playing the body a little bit more. Recovered here. Benito has a step over to King of Apes. Can't get it. Second chance, and again, great defense by Jay Toro. This one's poked back up to the point. Nicky Dangles. Goes over to the defender. Teemu in front. Benito shot on. Stopped by Kape. Nearly turned over again here. Jay Toro having trouble with the pressure, just trying to maintain his composure. Can't really do it. King of Apes, his shot's blocked down. Again, hREDS, some good offensive zone time, but better blocks from Philadelphia right now. John Tortorella would be proud. Everyone's getting in front of these shots. And a breakaway here, a step. It's Potzloff. He's denied. Fincona looked like he got a kick save on that one. May have hit the side, and that second chance denied as well. Tremendous opportunities for Potzloff and Eki. 2 minutes remaining here in this second period. And Sin, it really is surprising that 1-0 lead still intact, but an offside call here with 1:40 to go.
Yeah, some big saves from Fincona. Maybe a bit of good fortune on his side as well. But hREDS were finally starting to get some momentum there, and then immediately swung back in the other direction. We've seen 2 partial breakaways now. So as hard as these teams are trying to defend it, still happening.
Nicky Dangles able to recover, tried to feed Benito, and again, those passes just a little bit off the mark. Final minute of play now. Nicky Dangles back to the point. D-to-D work here, shot wired wide. Still, Philadelphia to keep that goose egg on the board. 8 seconds here, a chance to add to the lead perhaps. Eki not able to hold on to it, able to win it back here for the moment. It's taken away by Yoki Sin. That will bring us to the end of the second period. And with these opportunities, who would have guessed? Still just a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, I mean, it really started to open up there in that second period. You know, a lot of quick attacks back and forth, while the trap game was still a factor, of course, with Philadelphia. You know, getting that collapse when it does start to open up, there's always a bit more room. So if you're able to break it out quickly, you can start engaging your defensemen on those rush for those odd man, or at least outnumbered opportunities, which is what Teemu and King of Apes really started to do there. On the flip side, though, of course, if you get caught too deep, then it can lead to an odd man coming back the other way, which happened one time with Loimu, who went for a poke, got kind of caught in an animation, and it led to a 2-on-1 opportunity that, unfortunately for hREDS, did not quite get connected on. Kape was there on the cross-crease attempt, but you never know with those in-tight opportunities. A few more registered shots from hREDS, but if you look at the numbers, incredibly even, you know, throughout this game so far. For the most part, you could argue some of the more high-danger chances are coming from the end of Philadelphia, and they have done a good job of getting in those shooting and passing lanes as well in their own zone. Face-off battle right now going to Potsdam, which again is going to be a huge factor. Possession's so important, especially with a team like Philadelphia, who can just suffocate you.
We talked about hRED's growth as a team, the evolution of this lineup. It's time to see what they're really made of here. Third period, trailing against multiple-time champions. Let's see the response. Big stop there by Fincona on the D-to-D one-timer. Big save there. I mean, certainly keeping his team in it at this stage. Yoki with speed has a step, tried the tuck, just not able to go. I mean, Sin, it hasn't been for a lack of opportunities. Playmaker with space, pass over, they score! Potsdam has another one! The captain doubling it up, 2-0 now in favor of Philadelphia. Sin, just like that, hREDS go from a great chance to now facing that 2-0 deficit.
And that's how quickly things can turn. It's the same momentum swing as earlier, except a completely different situation. You go from the power play to going down by a goal. In this case, you go from an incredible chance at one end to then, again, a 2-on-1 at the other. And that's the danger we kind of touched on in the intermission. When you commit that many bodies to the rush, trying to get that offensive chance, you can be less one body on the back end. That's what happened there, and Philadelphia capitalized on it.
We really talked about it just a few seconds ago, but it's worth reiterating. What is this hREDS team made up? Or made up of, we should see. What are they made of? Time to find out here again. Facing adversity in this first game. They're in the attacking zone here now. Benito back to the point. Teemu the shot, and Kape. Yeah, just stone cold, Sin. No overreactions. Perfect position.
Yeah, and he's honestly facing a higher average of shots than he did throughout the course of this regular season. You can see he's really getting into his groove now. He's starting to, fill in and making some big key saves.
Another big one off the draw there as Teemu threw one on low. No rebound to be handled. Nearly 5 minutes into this third period. Again, Potts off the goal early on in this period to make it a 2-0 lead. He has both in this game. Mentioned it earlier. Playmaker was just one goal behind. So much for that. Potslav adding to that all-time playoff goal-scoring lead. We'll see again if he can, he's going to be looking for the hat trick at this stage. And that's a statement to be made if he is able to get that, but a statement nonetheless. It's Philadelphia right now, Sin, not able to work their way into the offensive zone, but again, precious seconds ticking off the clock. Potslav has it again, knocked off of him. Let's see what Yoki can do. We've been looking for that speed to really be a factor all game long. It nearly has been at a couple of different moments. Maybe unfortunate for him, has not been able to take advantage of it. Great interception there by Teemu as Deki was sneaking him behind. Loimu gets it over to Jay Toro. The breakout pass intercepted. Shot on. Kick save again by Kape. Perfect rebound control. Another offensive zone draw here for hREDS.
Yep, slowly but surely, hREDS have been a bit more offense. Once they are able to gain that zone, they do look good, but the problem has been gaining that zone. Now they want to sustain it.
Loose puck here, held in. Teemu gets the pass to Nicky Dangles across, tried to get the shot off. Eki, tremendous job there of shutting things down. Great pressure, playmaker, able to walk away with it, putting on the moves, trying to get around King of Apes, who did the right thing there. Just stayed with him, kept his composure. Here comes Yoki, able to feed Benito, put on the brakes. Puck still in. Teemu's shot paddled away by Kape. Another great save. Nicky Dangles to Teemu. Chance here. Great movement. Glove save. Kape one more time. Denying Nicky Dangles on the chance. What a performance here. Drew called out the goaltenders here just before puck drop. Kape right now, again, living up to that reputation Another phenomenal save.
Yeah, he is having himself a game. These are not gimme opportunities for him. No guaranteed saves. These are tough, and they seem to be increasing in quality as this continues. Another tough one right there with an in-tight opportunity going for that short side with all that lateral movement between the skaters and the passes going back and forth. It can be so hard for a goaltender to read where that shot's coming from, but he's staying calm in the crease, playing the angles as best as he can, and it's working for him right now. Still with the advantage. We're going to see a timeout here coming from, I believe it's actually Philadelphia, so they might want to get those stamina bars reset to try to get this puck out, but I mean, just incredible job from him so far.
Honestly, Sin, as I handed it over to you there, hREDS got another shot off, and I'm like, oh, here comes the commentator's curse for praising Kape, and immediately we might see the goal. It didn't happen. Opportunity poked away. Eki in a foot race for this one. He comes up with it. So for 8 minutes to go now as the puck is dumped in. Playmaker, quick pass to Eki off the side of the net. Still held in by Philadelphia. Great job there by Loimu. Shot just wide of the far side post. 7 minutes to go here now for hREDS. Again, game 1 of our finals. Here's Yoki with speed shot, kick save. Easy as you like for Kape. Puck loose, and it's in! Out of nowhere! A fortunate bounce from the EA gods. hREDS have their opening goal. It's going to be Yoki who's credited with it. Sin as that one pinballed around in front. And maybe, just maybe, that's what you're going to need to beat Kape. Look at this.
I'm struggling to track that puck right now. I can't exactly see how it went in, but I mean, that's what happens if you get that puck to the net. It was a great defensive play by, I believe it was Loimu on the back check to cut off the angle for Yoki to give Kape an easier save, but after that, the puck just had eyes and found the back of the net.
A lifeline, a light in the darkness. Hope for hREDS at this stage. 5.5 minutes to work with now. Let's see what they can do. We have seen some incredible comebacks here, not just, of course, in the elite playoffs, but in the lower divisions as well. And historically, Sin, we have seen Philadelphia involved in some very interesting comebacks right here on this stage in the past.
Yeah, whether it be in a series or just in a game by itself, Philadelphia can come back, but hREDS, they've got enough offensive firepower to do the same here. The question is, do they have enough time to engage it, and can they beat this Philadelphia defense?
Just under 4 minutes to play now. All it takes is one shot. Puck's on net. We've talked about it all postseason long. You never know what's going to happen. Space here for Benito. Can't get past the defense. Potzloff was there. Nicky Dangles with a good poke check to keep this one alive. Playmaker battling along the half wall here. Tamu does a great job of knocking it loose. Nicky Dangles looking back to the point. King of Apes trying to find a lane. Good movement. Puck thrown towards the net. No power on it. 1.5 minutes to go here. Nearly turned over. Great pressure from hREDS, but Philadelphia holding on for dear life at this stage. Eki into the offensive zone. Holding it here. Pass across. Playmaker will recover. Tries to get it back down low. Good contact. Potzloff there to try and keep it in the zone as well. Down to 46 seconds to play now. hREDS down by 1 here in game 1. Puck's in the zone. Trouble there, but it's knocked out. Eki, fortunate. Have that one. Find its way out of the zone now. Under 35 to go. Benito in the corner. Tried to sauce one in front. Nobody there. Here comes Eki. Over the line. Numbers here. Potzloff's across. They'll send it down low to the captain. Still holding it down low. 20 seconds to go. Eki and Potzloff going to work. But here come hREDS. 16 seconds to go. Goaltender heading to the bench. Benito couldn't hold it. Puck sent out. Is all alone. The goaltender's back. Great hustle to knock away the champs in. But with 5 seconds to go, that should do it. And it will. Philadelphia take game 1 by the score of 2-1. A statement made by the former champions to kick off this series.
Wow, I mean, just what a game from Philadelphia, but what tenacity from hREDS to keep battling their way back. And you know what? They made the adjustments necessary to really start to get that offense going, to be able to break in. And that really started when the game when the game began to kind of open up. The back and forth chances now, they benefited Philadelphia more in that game, but you cannot discount the fact that hREDS had several odd man opportunities, breakaway opportunities. One was, yes, negated by a penalty, which arguably could have been a penalty shot. It wasn't on the other hand, but you had Kape back there making huge saves when he needed to. And yeah, you mentioned it during the pregame. Drew said this might come down to the goaltenders. Well, in that one, I think you could arguably say Kape was the best player on the ice for Philadelphia. Huge saves at huge times, gives his team that 2-1 victory here in game one because of it.
And only beaten by that goal that you just saw there. Not much a goaltender can do about that. See if we got to look at any other goals here, and indeed we might. But saying ultimately, like I said, a statement made here by Philadelphia. A lot to talk about before we get to game two. Before we can do that, of course, we have to throw it back to Drew and Nick up in the booth. So guys, take it away. Sid and I will be back for game two, just a few minutes.
Hey there, Drew. I think we're having mic issues with you, Drew. So while we repatch you
I have
in,
an inline mute, and I was doing that to make sure that I didn't come out over the broadcast while I was talking during, to myself. But yeah, Tugi Sin, thank you guys very much. That's that always happens once, like every now and then. So that's my one for the weekend is
well, that's our pandemic Zoom meeting. You're on mute for the broadcast. Everybody gets one in every day of a meeting in your jobs that you're in while you're working from home. Now you have one here. We're okay.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I am here. I am live. I'm not a cat. Just for the record.
Good.
I don't know if it's a filter, but try to get rid of that. If you haven't seen that video, just all over social media. But yeah, so Nick, we were talking about it during that game. Just what an unbelievable performance by the goaltender. But hREDS, so many chances. Those 3 power play opportunities, 2 of them coming simultaneously, pretty much. Kape slamming the door, but hREDS also just not able to convert until very late in the contest.
Man, Kape probably the player of the game there for that one. Despite the 1 goal he gave up, that was a weird bounce. You take your bounces in NHL, you always do, no matter if it's virtual ice or an ice rink that is made from frozen water. It doesn't matter. You're going to take your bounces the way you can get them. The first sustained pressure for Philadelphia came with 6 minutes left in the first period, and they scored within seconds of being in the zone. They built some pressure, brought the puck into the middle, and that was a testament to patience from Patslov to put it on the backhand. And as Fincona was sliding across the ice, he just put it back the other way, saw the opportunity, and capitalized on it. And from there, hREDS just couldn't get anything going. All their shots till about halfway through the second period all came from just the power play.
Yeah, and they had a good number of shots. I mean, they were averaging basically 5 a period across that whole game. But as you said, it's so much of it was contained within those power play opportunities that they could not convert on. So something that they'll obviously be trying to do. The shot numbers will be fine if they could do that in every single game for the rest of the series, but they got to find a way to convert and make those shots count and make them maybe a bit more challenging, especially with, Kape playing the way that he did. If a goalie's going to stand on his head, you got to find a way to, the 5-hole, I guess, would be vertical. So, I don't know. You got to find a way to beat a guy who's playing the way Kape is. And, very nearly had what would have been his, 15th shutout of the season and postseason. So getting 1 is nice. So this way you've at least broken through, but you're going to need more than that to beat a team like Philadelphia in the coming games. We kind of teased it a bit earlier. Some would say we spoiled it. Some would say, like I did, that we were just foreshadowing to the big reveal, because we were talking about the awards throughout this weekend, the end of season awards for the ECL Elite, and we were talking about the underrated defender of the year. And Nick, we had 2 players from the same team get nominated. And as far as the winner goes, I believe it is one of them that has taken home the honors.
That's exactly right. We have the nominations here, and obviously another star-studded lineup of most underrated defender. And we're proud to officially announce the winner right here.
There it is. It wasn't official earlier. In case you thought you saw it, the votes were still being tabulated. But now this is it. Samsa from Gotham Knights, the most underrated defender of the season, and a well-earned honor. And we have one more in these underrated categories. We've done forward, we've done defender. So Nick, what is left is obviously broadcaster. Oh no, goaltender. Sorry about that.
Dang it.
I thought we were going to have underrated broadcaster. Yeah, I think that was wishful thinking on my part. I just wanted to, I wanted to win something this weekend, but
You were trying to go for
'cause I'm not eligible.
two-time Emmy nominated, right? That's what you're aiming for?
Well, I am 2-time Emmy nominated. I was looking for a
3-time.
third.
Sorry.
That's right. Trying to catch up to Booker T. But yeah, the most underrated goalie in the league, and you're taking a look across some really solid options here. Really great goaltending. We've seen some great goaltending so far. We know we have two of the best in the league playing in the championship series, and these five trying to earn their way into that discussion and being that elite tier. As at the very least, they are the most underrated goalies of this season. And this winner we will reveal to you in a little bit, probably after game number 2. We will have some more awards coming on later as well. So game 1 in the books, Philadelphia up to a 1-0 lead. hREDS did end up losing game 1 and winning game 2 in overtime when they played way back when at the beginning of the regular season. And Nick, we did an interview earlier. You got to hear me talking with Eki. So, we don't want to play favorites and only show one team. We gotta, spread the love around, do an interview with both sides.
Exactly. So let's do that. You got to speak to King of Apes, who we talked about in the pregame as somebody that can make an impact when he gets going. Let's hear what he had to say coming into tonight's broadcast.
Thanks very much. I'm joined now by King of Apes from hREDS. Ape, I think going into your semifinal matchup, there may have been a big expectation that we were going to see another rematch in the finals that we've seen in years past when you took on Havu Gaming. You guys pulled the upset, picked up the win. How did you guys deal with any doubt from the outside that may have been coming in going into that series against Havu?
It really doesn't matter. We felt like we are a good team. We have a good chance to beat Havu, and we were kind of expecting to beat those guys, and yeah, we played good, and it just happened.
Guys going up against Philadelphia now in the championship round, again, as the underdogs, I think, from most people who are going to be watching this series. Do you like playing from that role? Because it's now back-to-back rounds, and does it give you guys any added motivation if people have any doubt on you guys, even after you took down a team like Havu in the last round?
Not really, because I don't consider us that clearly to be underdog. I just think there's good two teams, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, of course, it's fun to play against those guys.
The road to a championship is never going to be an easy one, no matter what route you take. But in your guys' case, you guys have to now beat the 2 seed and the 1 seed in order to pick up a championship. Is that something that you take pride in, that's going to be your road to a title? Or were you kind of hoping that, maybe both teams would have pulled an upset in the semifinals to give you what people may have considered to be a slightly easier matchup in the championship?
Well, of course, it would be a little nicer if it would be a little bit easier, but I think beating Havu and maybe Fila would be really, really nice, and it's a statement. It's a statement there.
So you guys split the season series, but that was a long, long time ago. You have literally played every other team since you guys played Fila to open the season. So how much stock can you put into that matchup? Can you guys go back and watch that? Can you learn from that game? Or has too much time passed since you've played them for that to really be even relevant at this point?
I actually watched those games, and I think we have upgraded our game much from those games. I think we let so easy goals against Fila then, and yeah, I think we are better now, and we will see.
So how are you preparing for the finals? Either just yourself or as a team, how much game film are you watching on Philadelphia getting ready for this matchup?
Of course, we are scouting a Fila's game. I personally know how they play, how some players like to play in some situations, stuff like that. But just play the game, trying to improve our weakness, and yeah, nothing too special.
You guys, obviously, the top 2 teams in the ECL Elite for this season. When you guys are comparing yourself to the other team, or if we wanted to right now, what is it that makes you unique, and what is it that makes them a unique opponent for you?
I think we are best team what comes to individual skill, and I think Fila has the best team play, so that's gonna be a huge challenge.
Talking about team, I know it was a little while ago, but you and your defense partners switched sides during the season and have held with that since. What kind of an impact did that change have on you and the way that you guys play as a unit?
I think it was a good trade. Now I can play with my left side, and I'm more comfortable with that, and can help my team a little bit more. And Teemu is also a very good player with that right stick. I think our defense is now slightly better than it was, but nothing so special.
What do you expect to happen in this series? You guys are playing a best of 7. Is there any kind of prediction that you want to share? Is there any thoughts that you have going in?
I think it's gonna be tight games, very tight games. 1 or 2 goal may clutch the series, and I don't know. It's gonna be fun to see.
Any other thoughts that you want to give us? Anything you want to say to the people who are watching this championship before you get ready for that best of 7?
Come to see very good hockey, and I hopefully hope that you guys will enjoy it, and you will have a lot of fun watching the series, and yeah.
King of Apes, thank you very much. Best of luck to you in the series.
And thank you.
So that was, of course, him going into game number 1, as we're rejoined by the broadcasters for game number 2. That would be Tugi and Sin. And guys, obviously hands full always the defense when you're taking on a team like Philadelphia. And game 1, no different. Nick and I were talking about what we thought that hREDS could probably try to do. What did you guys see when you were in that game? What for hREDS to try and level this series up in game 2? What do they have to do?
Well, I suppose I'll take it here, Sin. I mean, we see it a lot, right? With the teams going for those high quality chances all the time, the forced passes into the slot. When it pans out, you're going to score 4 or 5 goals a game. When it doesn't, and you have a team like Philadelphia that can shut down the slot and take away those chances, I mean, we ultimately see what, a 1 goal, performance there. Maybe not the goal they thought that would go in. But, I mean, it's funny enough, the King of Apes called it, hey, expecting very close games, and it was just that. The big thing now is deciding, or, just ultimately seeing whether or not Philadelphia can continue to keep that up, because that is an incredibly taxing situation to have to shut down those chances, especially over a 7-game series.
Yeah, I mean, taxing is what it is. I mean, you have to, that's why we saw Philadelphia so often in the early going, really stopping it at the blue line. They respect hRED's ability to produce that offense. But when that game starts opening up, it just becomes kind of like a free-for-all. You're going to have to commit extra guys to that rush to get your chances. In that case, it did work out better for Philadelphia. hRED's on that flip side of it. I mean, they had their chances as well. There were some huge saves from Kape, but what I like about what hREDS did, and where I think they can, they do have a chance here in this series to really get the advantage, is when they did gain the zone. It was hard at times for Philadelphia to get them out of it, and they got a couple, good chances each time they were in there. Now, Kape did Kape things, and he made incredible saves, but there is that outlook there for hREDS. They're getting some odd man opportunities, and they're getting some good zone time. I think they need to take a bit of a page out of Philadelphia's book and try a few more shots from those lower percentage areas before Philadelphia can get in those shooting lanes.
All right, so game 1 obviously done, and Nick, I guess going into game 2, since Tugi asked you last time what your key was going into game number 1. So what's going into game number 2? What should Tugi and Sim be keeping a close eye on here during the call for game 2?
Yeah, something I saw that was really interesting is King of Apes actually giving up 3 turnovers in their end that didn't work out so well on the breakout. That was a little bit dangerous for them. They had to reset. One of them generated a pretty great scoring opportunity that you don't usually see hREDS give up right there in the slot area. And then up the other side, Yoki was knocking at that door a couple of times with a breakaway. And then in that quick transition back the other way, everybody was caught up the ice. And you had Teemu and Apes way up in the play. And as you mentioned, Sin, nobody to make up for that when the puck just bounces the other way. So that's something that's going to be interesting. See if they make a slight adjustment to read better. And maybe that's a lack of being inside the same building, as you mentioned, only 4 of the 6 players are doing that, but something's going to have to change here, and we'll have to see if hREDS can adjust. Philadelphia so far stellar through 1 game.
All right, so if I'm not mistaken here, we are just about ready to go for Game 2. Again, a big thank you to Drew and Nick. We'll be seeing you guys back between the games, of course. And again, a reminder to those of you on the Finnish side of things, hashtag Mukana Wilhelm, of course, in chat for a chance to win a couple of the giveaways that we have going on here. There you see hREDS, unsurprisingly, in the red. We'll see what they can do against Philadelphia Sin as they try to battle back into this. Again, Game 2 of this best of 7. We'll be covering the first 3 games of this series here in this broadcast. Of course, we'll be back same time tomorrow, 20 CET, for the remainder of this series. However many games it will be, of course, make sure to follow us on all the socials, NHLgamer.com, of course. And again, a reminder as well, coming up in that intermission, we will see who is the most underrated goaltender / best of the rest, the guys who didn't quite make the cut for the other big-time awards that we'll be giving out tomorrow as well. Again, all of those awards voted on the players of the Elite Division this season. hREDS in the attacking zone early on here. Benito with a weak feed, doesn't find a way through. Diving effort to take it away, fails as well. Here's Eki, great patience, scores! Finn Kona caught cheating. Eki with a phenomenal display. And Sin, that is the worst-case scenario for hREDS. They give up the opening goal. It's Eki who gets it just under 3 minutes in.
It started so promising for hREDS. They did it early. They committed the extra man to the rush. It was King of Apes on the right wing side who was able to gain the zone for them, but it was Benito on the point who wasn't quite able to make the necessary move, hold the line. So all of a sudden you got Eki going around you, and what a move by him. I mean, it looked like that Teemu could have cut off any sort of angle that he had, but the patience with the puck that Eki put on display really made Finn Kona, have to think an extra second. Came off the post a little bit, and that was just enough space to put that one home. 1-0 here for Philadelphia.
Sam, we just saw it with the team view there. hREDS in on the attack here, though, an opportunity. D to D. King of Apes feeding it down low, and again below the goal line. Their bread and butter hasn't worked yet. Poked away by Eki. Teemu will win this race. Sin to bring it back to the team view there. All smiles for Philadelphia. That is a horrifying sight for any team that has to go up against them here. hREDS struggling to get things going in the offensive zone in the aftermath of that goal. Again, it was a bit of a slow start for them in that first game as well. So here's Eki weaving his way through the defense. Loose puck recovered. Yoki has the speed. Breakaway. Scores on the backhand. We are tied at 1. Yoki displaying that speed that was hyped up throughout the entirety of the pregame. We are tied at 1. He finally finds that open space, Sid.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we've been looking for. He's been hanging around there, just waiting for his opportunity. And that's really what this series seems to be coming down to, is who gets that little bit of time and space and what can they do with it. Yoki able to find it there on the breakaway, makes no mistake. Kape unable to bail his team out that time, 1-1.
An incredible display there as well. We see, as has been described by Nick in the past, the hut-like patience from Eki, and then on the flip side, he called it as well, the elite speed from Yoki. Name a better analyst in the game. You might not find one. Big kick save there. And hREDS, starting to feel it a little bit more. Said it was a dangerous factor to see Philadelphia playing with that much confidence. hREDS right now looking very determined, very dangerous as well. It's in 2 goals, and in the first, 7 minutes or so. It's an incredible start to this second game, especially for hREDS. Again, their first, I'd argue, legit goal of this series. Again, what was essentially an own goal in Game 1, their only tally on the board.
Yeah, something that they'll really be happy with here in this one, especially as it didn't take them too long to get back closer. Another one.
Breakaway again, poked away at the last second. Puck still loose on the doorstep. Benito back to Yoki, he scores again! 2 quick goals for hREDS, and they snag their first lead of the series. Yoki's on a brace just over 10 minutes in.
Wow, I mean, what a play right there, and you gotta kind of wonder if Philadelphia got caught out of sorts in their own end. Not only that, it was another partial breakaway. They've got to get this settled down. I mean, that's too many opportunities that you're giving to this hREDS squad, especially the 2 wingers. Yoki is just looking exceptionally dangerous, and he did it again. I mean, you harken back to our keys to the game. Yoki go brr. Well, he's done exactly that in this one.
An incredible start to Game 2 for Yoki. Again, the leading scorer in the league this regular season. Of course, he and Benito especially incredibly dangerous. They connected there on that goal. hREDS not going to be able to get back into the offensive zone all that quickly on this attempt. Set back once more. Look to get Philadelphia moving here. So again, the opening goal for Recchi, 5 minutes in essentially. But Yoki had a response. Here's Playmaker though. He has the speed, drops it back. Potslov tried to pull to the backhand. It was knocked loose. D to D. Jay Toro works it down low. Eki again, trying to fend off the pressure. Potslov back down low to him. Playmaker in front. Loose puck was taken away. Great job there to deny Potslov the chance on the doorstep. He had 2 goals in game 1. Benito fires just wide. The far side post trying to beat Kape to the glove side here. Under 5 minutes to play. The move from Potslov doesn't find its way through. A good interception there on the flip side. Again, Eki, one of our best two-way forwards in this league. Race for the puck. To Fincona's left. Philadelphia has it picked off. Here's Benito, one-on-one with Loimu. Can he wait for help? Goes for the move. And Loimu is able to take that one away as well. Talk about players, of course, that weren't up for the big awards, and you're going to have players who are controversially left off. Loimu, another one of them as well. Not exactly underrated, but certainly best of the rest comes to mind for him. He's been great so far today.
Yeah, excellent patience on display right there. I mean, really waiting for the attacking player to make the move and then putting the body on him right there so he wasn't going to get caught out and leave Kape in a one-on-one situation.
Final minute here. 2-on-1 perhaps developing for Philadelphia. Here's Eki with a step. He's tripped. And a penalty shot is coming up here. A controversial no call in game 1. No such thing this time out. Eki, one-on-one against Vincona. And a chance to get his second of the game and tie this one up heading into the second. The head-to-head duel here gets no bigger than this. Let's see what Eki can do. Taking his time, trying to weave him out. Backhand scores! We are tied at 2. Eki with his second of the game. Sin, what a head-to-head battle here between Eki and Yoki at this stage. All smiles from Eki, too.
Yeah, just head-to-head is exactly right. Really sort of putting their team on the backs, getting huge goals when they need it. Playmaker now may not be done once.
Puck in front, still there, taken away and cleared by Benito at the death. What a start to this one. 3 goals in all of game 1. A 4-goal combined first period to kick off game 2. Eki and Yoki leading the way.
Yep, pretty different from that first game. A lot more wide open, which is a bit surprising at times, especially when you consider how good Philadelphia was at the beginning of last game and shutting down hREDS' attack here. No such luck as, I mean, we have a tie game, but really it could have been gone either way. So many chances at either end. 2 goals apiece. That penalty shot, just tremendous patience coming up from Eki again. I mean, when you have a veteran NHL player like him, and you see him taking his time on a penalty shot right there as a goaltender, you already have to be worried that it's Eki number 1. But when you see him with that much confidence with the puck, waiting, and picking the perfect spot, I mean, what else can you do in that situation? But we're kind of seeing a different sort of meta than we're used to in a lot of ways. You know, we do see some rush opportunities, but we talk about Euro being so puck possession heavy, and we're seeing, almost, back and forth rushes, very North American style. All we're missing is some dump and chases and a bit more bumps across the board, but I'm kind of liking it. It's given me, it's giving me chills for my blue collar. I'm loving it.
Perhaps setting the tone for a upcoming NACL season. Let's put pressure on the people in charge. Maybe coming back to the NA side of things soon. But for now, again, we focus on the elite of the European scene. Again, second period now underway. Game 2, hREDS and Philadelphia. hREDS looking for their first crown. Philadelphia looking to get back on top of the mountain as we have a player down there. Jay Toro is caught. Still some numbers here. The defenseman tries to catch up, and he does. So hREDS not exactly able to take advantage of that chance, but they still have possession time here in the offensive zone. Teemu cuts back, has a couple of options, looks to go back down the wall. It's knocked off of him. Great job there. There's your bumps in. Loimu providing the defensive physicality. See what happens here, though. Playmaker in the zone. He takes the hit. Sin, I mean, hey, ask and you shall receive. The more physical game stepping up. Talked about it, the constantly evolving situation as these games play on, especially in a big-time stage like this. Wouldn't be surprised to start seeing those dumps and chases, all things considered here, as J Toro has trouble. And hREDS doing a better job so far of shutting down that blue line for the first 5-6 minutes now.
Yeah, and I think you're right. We're going to see a lot of different looks come out over the course of this series. When you have a series like this between two teams as good as they are, it becomes a chess match at times and really a mental duel. And we'll see. I mean, Philadelphia does have the experience, but so far, hREDS look to be really good at being able to throw different looks at Philadelphia, get different chances, and try to keep things, from becoming stagnant on their own end and become a team easily defendable against. Because if you are easy to defend against, Philadelphia will shut you down.
Another offside call here. 12:47 to go in the second period. Again, a friendly reminder for those of you just joining us. This is game 2 of our best of 7. That $15K prize pool, the lion's share of it, at stake to the winner of this series. Again, game 3 will be coming up in this broadcast. Continuation of the series tomorrow, 20 CET. Start time on that, of course, about 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the North American side of things. What a chance there from Nicky Dangles. Bit of a creative look. At least gets another offensive zone draw here for hREDS.
Yeah, and I like to see that coming out. We mentioned so often how much Nicky Dangles has improved on that defensive end of things. Not as big as offensive numbers, but maybe starting to get his wheels going here in the finals.
Chance there, and again, Kape able to make the cover. No dangerous second chance opportunities has been the theme so far for hREDS, which is why I think, of course, in game 1 we saw a lot of those extra passes trying to get through traffic, because you pretty much know those second chance opportunities aren't going to be there.
Yeah, absolutely not. Both teams really good at clearing out that crease, or at least positioning themselves to box someone out, which is oh so important by how crazy these bounces off of rebounds can get, much to the chagrin of the goaltenders, I assume, but, nonetheless, just how the game is played at times, and good to see both teams looking for it.
Here we go, halfway through regulation in game 2. We are tied at 2, a scoreless second period so far. Of course, the first period bookended there by Eki. First goal and the last goal. Yoki with the 2 in between. Shot there, and what a stop by Fincona. The great lateral slide to take that one away.
Yeah, a bit of a desperation slide, as you can see, coming all the way out of the crease after he got his glove on that puck right there. Nonetheless, a great save and a good job to hold on to it for the face-off.
Off the tie-up here, hREDS in control. Next goal of this game, incredibly important at this stage. It's Philadelphia able to take that one away. Let's see what they can do again as they try to work their way into the offensive zone. Quick passing here. Great job. Loimu fired it just wide. Had Playmaker in front. Couldn't get a stick to it. 6.5 now. hREDS trying to weave their way through the neutral zone here. Benito, quick pass to Nicky Dangles. Contact there. Centerman keeps it alive. Double team still fighting for it. Great job here by Benito. Slap shot on. Don't know if Kape made a stop on that one, but regardless, what a great individual effort from the centerman. Chance there! And Nicky Dangles is denied on the backhand. Sin, all of that started from, again, that great individual effort by the captain, Benito.
Yeah, and it was a huge hit in the corner that actually caused 2 Philadelphia players to trip over one another, leading to that chance in the slot, but Kape right there to make the stop, dodging a bullet.
Here's Zaki, rifles across, scores! Finds Potzloff in front, might have been an own goal based off of the replay, but Philadelphia re-established the lead here. Sin, it can happen that quickly. Eki with the speed to just rifle it in front, and it will be Potzloff's goal.
Okay, all right, so he did get a stick on it, but yeah, you said it. It did look like perhaps it was a pickup animation from one of the defenders there that helped to guide that puck in. Tough to see from either of those 2 angles. Nonetheless, it's a goal in the back of the net for Philadelphia. They gained the lead in this one, which is obviously pretty big for them at the tail end of the second period. Now we're going to see, how does hREDS respond to this?
Possession here now, 4 minutes to go in the second period. See how Yoki and company respond. Nicky Dangles loses it. Teammates able to pick it up. Benito in front. Shot blocked down. Great chance there for Yoki, taken away. Here's Playmaker off of a great feed. Even better work there by King of Apes to take it away. Yoki trying to generate speed, and he does. Fending off Loimu at the moment. Chance in front. Benito chipped it just wide. Again, the center keeps it alive. Shot blocked down. Teemu not able to get that one off. 1.5 to go here in this period. Space here, perhaps shot and a stop by Fincona. Final minute now. Incredible pace here to the end of this second period. King of Apes in the zone. Benito looking at his options, goes to Teemu, clock ticking down, slap shot, rebounds there, and knocked away at the last moment, taken away one final time by Playmaker. 3 seconds here. Do they have time? Slap shot off the bar from the looks of it. An incredible chance, and we've seen it time and time again. Never too late to get a goal. And they were that close to adding to their lead.
So close, but I gotta call him out. Teemu was incredible on that play. Before the puck even left the zone, he put body position onto Eki, preventing him, slowing his speed down, knowing that if he took away at least that pass, the angle that Playmaker had to take to cut across the net would not have been enough, including with how much time was left on the clock. That is a very good awareness play from Teemu to slow that down on the break. That being said, I mean, that shot from Playmaker almost finding the back of the net there, going off the post and out of play. Scary moment it may be, but you know, you got to be thinking yourself, you still only are down by 1. But if you're hREDS, you got to kind of wonder how you let it get away from you. I mean, the game opens up. It just seems like Philadelphia is comfortable playing in any single situation, whether it be the trap game, whether it be, you know, a possession game, or here in a wide open rush game. It seems like Philadelphia just doesn't have any problem adjusting and throwing out their game styles to take away, you know, the chances. And look at that. 4 goals off 3 shots is efficiency.
I mean, again, that's a heartbreaking stat right now for hREDS. I was hoping we'd get a look at that final shot, and it looked like it registered as a shot, so Finn Kona perhaps getting a piece of that one rather than it being off the bar, which speaks to just regardless how big of a save that was, as we get a look here at the difference maker. The underrated Potzloff. I'm just going to keep hammering home that point because it clearly bothers people in chat. The underrated captain of the multiple-time champions, it's Potzloff with the difference-making goal here. Sin, third period underway. What's it going to take for hREDS here? Obviously, the defense is important. You can't give up an extra goal, but you need to find one at the same time.
Yeah, I think while they do enjoy the rush play as well, I think establishing their forecheck a little bit more is going to be as important.
Great extra pass there, attempt. That was King of Apes, who picked up an injury there, of course, blocking a shot late in that period. Almost came into effect, of course, as he got caught. That great final save by Finn Kona. See how hREDS are, again, able to respond here. That's what we always talk about. It's all about the response, the mentality game. You know, the chess match, as Sin basically called it, as we see another offside call here. I mean, Sin, it's been one of the things. That's why we always hammer that point. We've talked to Havu when they've won titles. We've talked to Philadelphia when they've won titles. It's all about that mental chess match.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, no team, as you just mentioned, perhaps knows it better in this series than Philadelphia. And it's kind of showing right now their comfort level of playing any single style. It's working.
Wraparound bid for Playmaker is denied. Finn Kona able to get down into the butterfly on that one and take that one away. So the offensive zone draw coming up here. Let's see. Potzloff can keep that pressure on. Benito hanging with them, though. You see the 9-8 split. Potzloff does win it, though. Quick shot, great block by King of Apes. Down low, still trying to knock it around. Still fighting for it. Nicky Dangle's able to come up with it. Poked back into the zone, though. Now it's Teemu. A little bit of space to work with here. That's been, honestly, a bit of a rarity for that hREDS defense on these breakouts. King of Apes on the pinch, able to keep possession alive. Throws it back. Teemu shot just wide of the post. Great opportunity there from the point. Teemu with trouble, though. Playmaker has it poked away. hREDS right now getting the better of the play, but again, desperate for the goal at this stage, going down 2-0 against Philadelphia. Talk about an insurmountable task to begin with. We've seen crazy things happen, but this determined of a Philadelphia squad, and again, hREDS can't risk falling too far down in this series.
Yeah, and as this game is going to settle down a bit, the blue line stands have gotten better. That being said, a quick chance from hREDS in the front of the net after gaining the zone. Bit of a scary opportunity. Once again, the caster's curse coming to play. As soon as you want to make a point about Philadelphia and hREDS patrolling that blue line exceedingly well, an in-tight chance comes out from the break-in right there. Good job from hREDS, just finding that little bit of space to get that chance.
Commentator's curse alive and well all season long. Of course, an offside call here, 11-11, make a wish. Your hREDS right now, you're wishing for a goal.
Yeah, and if you're Philadelphia, you're wishing that you can just keep kind of, you know, letting hREDS play into you, which is what happened a lot has happened just pretty much throughout this entire series so far. It's that hREDS really having to kind of force the issue, and Philadelphia feeding off of mistakes that they make.
Cat's got his tongue. Loimu has the puck. We march on here. Great job by hREDS to shut down the blue line, but Philadelphia right now, the way you view this is it's not that much of a negative. That clock ticking down, one back by hREDS. Here's Benito with a little bit of space, able to find Yoki. That one hit the pads. Again, bit of a muffin of a shot there, no real speed on it. Philadelphia, great patience. Again, Eki, unbelievable awareness in those situations. Now down under 8 minutes to go. Now is about the time that we saw that goal from hREDS to be able to get a little bit of momentum back. Of course, they fell short in that first game. Here's the dump and chase attempt. Great bounce. Yoki tries to get it back to the point and does. And again, back down along the half wall, but a pretty predictable play, all things considered. We see that from Teemu and Yoki a lot. Playmaker tried to weave his way through on the self-sauce. No space there to generate speed. And now it's Benito going back down the other way. Finds Yoki, shot on, nearly caught Kape leaning. Good stop there by the netminder. Benito still able to hold on to this one off the feed from Teemu. Looking here again, back to the defenseman. It's blocked. Benito still holding it. 4.5 to go. Chance, loose puck. And recovered by Philadelphia for the moment. Great pressure to knock it loose one more time. Nicky Dangles throws it off the pads. Puck's kept in at the point. Teemu sends it down low once more. Nicky Dangles trying to fend off the bumps from Playmaker. And he does. Finds King of Apes. Benito. Nicky Dangles denied. What a stop by Kape. Still in front. Benito again, the extra feed taken away. 2 minutes to go here in regulation of Game 2. Here in this best of 7, our finals. Championship round of the Elite Division. See what Philadelphia can do here. In on the attack. Playmaker throws it across. Shot stopped by Fincona. And Sin, remember that one. That was not an easy stop.
No, huge save right there, but what a sequence for hREDS in that offensive zone there for a while. It looks like they're going to be taking, the timeout here, but they had that puck in Philadelphia's end for quite a lot of time, getting excellent chances. The one thing that they didn't look for, though, that I think could have been open with how strong Philadelphia's collapse is, they kept taking away those low slot chances. I'd like to see hREDS commit not just a defenseman to those high slot one-timers when they pinch in, but to sneakily get a forward back there. We see it oftentimes, in competitive play here a little bit in EU, but it's very popular in the NA scene. Those high slot one-timers can really catch a goaltender off guard and really catch that collapse off guard as well. So you'd like to see that from hREDS at some point in the series, but right now they're in panic mode. They need a goal.
Final minute of regulation here. hREDS in on the attack. We'll see if Fincona goes. Backhand just wide. Benito on the buffer. Not able to get that one. 2-on-1 developing here. Eki and Playmaker with speed. Great effort by Teemu. All out to take away that pass. Still fighting for it. 35 seconds to go. What do hREDS have left in the tank here in this game? Over the line. Nicky Dangles can't dump it. It goes all the way back to the hREDS defensive zone. Now 23 seconds to play. Yoki, 2 goals in the first period. Hasn't been able to find that third. Nicky Dangles with trouble. Here's Benito now looking. Teemu's shot blocked. 12 seconds now, and the puck's out of the zone. One final rush here for hREDS. Here's Benito. Back to King of Apes. D-to-D shot. Second chance. Puck still loose, and it doesn't go. What a play to end it. Somehow, some way, Philadelphia hold on and take Game 2 by the score of 3-2. Pittsburgh, Detroit-esque, stopping the puck at the buzzer. And the stonewalled faces there of pure determination. Almost shell-shocked, and you wouldn't know they had won the game if you hadn't looked at this.
Wow. I mean, just wow. I don't know how hREDS didn't get a stick on that puck as it pinballed around across the slot, up, down, side to side. Couldn't find the right stick, couldn't find the back of the net. Credit to Philadelphia for, kind of being in the right position, at least getting body contact and preventing those sticks. But, if you're hREDS, that one has got to hurt. That was a chance. They executed it to near perfection, just couldn't find the rebound. What else can you say? That one, it's got hurt. Just look at it. I mean, I'm just going to let it speak for itself. No analysis. Look at this.
I mean, it really does speak for itself. Just a very unfortunate bounce there where it just didn't go to the tape of an hREDS attacker. An incredible end to that game, Sin. Just 5 registered shots for Philadelphia in that one to the hREDS 11. and still somehow, some way, Philadelphia able to hold on there. I think one of the big talking points, like obviously it's a frustrating goal for Finn Kona to have allowed there. He faced some high quality chances. I think obviously you see a save percentage like that, and some blame might naturally go to the goaltender here. I don't think that's the case in this one, though. I mean, that was, again, another close game with some very, very difficult opportunities on both sides.
Yeah, it was exceptionally close, and that's what it comes down to. I mean, once again, a 1-goal differential between these two teams. Unfortunately, hREDS not able to get a victory in either game, which puts them in a precarious position here going into Game 3, which could really, put Philadelphia's foot on their throats. They've got to find a way to win. It doesn't matter how you do it at this point. You have to find a way. I mean, Philadelphia, the precision that they had, I mean, the high quality opportunities, yeah, you can't really blame Finn Kona for any of those, because you look at where those shots were coming from and the situations they were coming in. A penalty shot, Eki in on you. I mean, that's the last guy you want to be in on you, one-on-one situation with a passing threat, so he takes the defender out of the equation, having to guard against that potential cross crease, and he displayed, that excellent patience. And what a game for him. What a game for Philadelphia as a whole. And honestly, what a game for hREDS. Although they came out on the losing side, they really played their hearts out there and did everything they could to try to get that tying goal in the dying moments of the third.
So with that, Game 2 is in the books. Philadelphia with a 2-0 lead here in this best of 7. Our third and final game will be coming up in just a matter of moments. Before that, though, let's get you to a word from our lovely sponsor in Wilhelm. From there, Drew and Nick will take it away. We'll be back in just a moment.
Wilhelmin ykköskentän pakkeina uudet tulokkaat. Sour Cream Snacks ja Flaming Hot Snacks. Kotikatsomoissa mukana Wilhelm Snacksit.
Nick, the way that game ended, the way that I want to describe it to people is because when we're watching this stream, as we're putting it out there, we have the one giant monitor that shows us what is going out, so that's the gameplay. And then on the side, we have all of the individual webcams set up so we could see both of us, Sin and Tugi. And literally, the three of us that were not talking, all simultaneously with 5 seconds left in that game, did the surrender Cobra. It was all of this. All three of us that weren't talking at that time, just immediately, because what a finish that game. Painfully close for hREDS to tying that one up, especially considering the play Teemu made to keep them from being down potentially 2 to save that puck with 30 seconds left, start the play up. I'm like, this is how this story goes. This is how they tie the game. They won the regular season meeting in overtime. This is Game 2. This is the way it goes. And, just so close.
Man, this must be why the NHL took away that little puck track laser follower thing back in the 90s, because if you were to track the puck on the ice, it would have bounced in every part of that offensive zone except for the back of the net behind that red line. And they just couldn't get it in there at the time that they needed to the most. Despite that, though, hats off to Philadelphia and Kape for just making the saves that they could. I'm at a disbelief to how this is not already in overtime, but it doesn't matter. Philadelphia walks out of here. Now they're up 2 games.
And now for hREDS, the pressure is on. You're down 2-0. Game 3 is the last one of the day today. You can't go down 3-0 to a team like Philadelphia going into day number 2 and have to win 4 out of 4. You've got to make this a 2-1 series.
No, you definitely can't do that. There's just no way. The pressure would be too insurmountable to have to go perfect reverse sweep. I just don't see that happening. This has to be the game where they step up. Now, there's a lot of things that they can take away from the success that they had in game number 2. Does hREDS. Great, better defensive plays. They had a penalty shot, as Tugi mentioned, kind of a questionable call not getting one in game 1 for them. They give up one in game number 2. But Yoki, speed all over the ice. We talked about the keys to the game, Drew, being Philadelphia's wing speed, but then Yoki pulls the Uno reverse card and does it himself to put 2 up back to back. In that first period, the game was wide open. I think I counted 9 rushes in the first period alone. And then the game kind of slowed down to play more Philadelphia style as the quick strike up the side with the winger speed. So it was an interesting game to watch, kind of go and morph from very high caliber speed play and then turn into more concentrated, focused attack.
Yeah, it was wild, just the differences that we saw in that game. We were chatting about it too. It's just like, wow, this is like a North American game in the first period, 2-2. And then we get one goal in the second, and then that slow pace. We've been talking about end of season awards throughout our broadcast today. We'll also have more tomorrow. And the most recent one we're talking about is the last of the most underrated category, also known as the best of the rest, as it has been referred to. So these were the nominees for the most underrated goalie. And of these 5, all very talented in their own right. These, of course, voted on by the players themselves across the league. Only one could be named the most underrated goalie. So, Nick, I'll give you a drum roll. Who is the most underrated goalie of the year?
ECL Elite Most Underrated Goalie Award will go to Swag X88. Congratulations to you. And I know the chat's going to have their opinion on that. And that's what I love to see when it comes to awards, Drew.
Well, there's always going to be an opinion, and let us know in the chat if this is fitting, if there's a different title you'd rather be than most underrated goalie, we'll read it and we'll see what happens with that. We do have one more award that we're going to be giving out today, and we want to go through the nominees. We're done with the underrated, but this one somewhat related. It is the comeback player of the season. Always an interesting topic across all sports when you see a comeback player of the year. And in these, a number of nominees up for this as well. These are the 5 finalists. We will have the winner of this award coming up after game number 3, which is, of course, our last game of the broadcast day. Games 4 through 7 coming your way tomorrow. Nick, hREDS, as we get back to today's game, has to win game 3. This is must-win territory. You are not eliminated if you lose, but you're going to have to win 4 straight against the top team in the league, a team that's only lost 3 games, including the playoffs, to this point. So
unquestionably true there, let alone the fact that percentages of winning 4 straight are minimal in frozen water hockey. They're even more minimal in virtual hockey. That's why they say in these longer series, the good team will typically come out on top because you have 7 chances to avoid the weird puck bounces you sometimes get in NHL 21. That can't be more true than against a team like Philadelphia, who, like you mentioned, has only lost 2 games in 30. So they're not going to lose 4 in 7 back to back. I just don't see that happening here. So hREDS needs to just take what worked for them well with the game number 2, that they did have a lot of success in. Game number 1, not their best game, but game 2, a lot of good things worked in their favor. They got through to Cape twice. They can get through if they work at it. Just got to get the right bounce and the right momentum on their side at the right moment. That's the hard part too, because as you mentioned, Teemu, I thought that was going to be the game saver, and we turn it around, and then bam, we're in overtime. It didn't happen. So you got to make sure you stay on your game, get focused. Don't get rattled from what occurred in game 2. This is a new game, new ice, and it's a chance to put 1 on the board in your win column for the playoff series.
And then you have a brand new day tomorrow, and you just have to take 3 out of 4 if you can pick up the win in this one. And Philadelphia, by the way, now since the start of the regular season, they are 38-1-2 on the playoffs and the regular season. That is a level of dominance that is just remarkable. Doesn't begin to properly describe that kind of dominance. NHL-wise, you're talking 78 points in 10, 11 in 41 games.
A young
out of
F5
82.
Yeah, a young F5 Penguin in 2001 was in awe at Goldberg, going 172-0. So this is up there in that echelon of perfection for them. Yes, a loss here and there is going to be what happens in NHL, but man, to win 38 in a season is impressive.
Yeah, this is absolutely incredible. So we're just waiting for the players. They're taking a quick little break before we get into Game 3. It is the 3rd and final one of the day. Today, as we take a look at all of the cameras, Cape is back. The goaltender for Philadelphia taking a quick little break after facing some tough challenges in Games 1 and 2, but to this point, picking up wins in both of those meetings. So Just before we hand it over to Tugi and Sin for the call on game number 3, Nick, just a quick key. What does hREDS have to do to even this up?
Break
gotta
out
figure out
2-1 rather.
Yeah, they got to figure out Kape, and they got to figure out how to get through to him. And they were able to do it twice there. I know that first goal in game number 1 was a weird bounce, but game number 2, they were able to do it twice. If they can just get consistent with that and then avoid the transition play. We didn't see that happen. We saw the rushes take place in game number 2 in the first period. So they didn't clean up what they needed to clean up in game 1. It led them to fighting from behind essentially, and that's just not a good look for them.
And Tugi, I know that you as a Boston fan are familiar with teams overcoming a 3-0 deficit, but we know as we hand it over to you, hREDS does not want to be in the position of the 04 Red Sox.
Especially by a team called Philadelphia. I'm very much familiar with teams in a 3-0 series. To be honest, I think Sin has some familiarity with that as well, if I'm not mistaken. But ultimately, again, Nick, not to cut you off on that, but I heard a Goldberg streak reference, so you had to mention the stun gun, of course. All things considered. Again, a friendly reminder to those from Finland in the chat. Hashtag Mukana Wilhelm, of course, for your chance to win some free Wilhelm snacks, of course. Sour cream snacks. Sin's favorite, the flaming hot snacks. All you got to do, hashtag Mukana Wilhelm in the chat, of course. So, Sin, we've seen it all already in this particular broadcast, from penalty shots, controversial no calls, obscure Brady Bunch and wrestling references, which of course you have to expect with Drew and Nick on the call. Wouldn't have it any other way. Sin, it's our final game of this broadcast, game 3. What are you expecting to see here?
I'm expecting to see a bit more of the same, but what I'd like to see hREDS do that Nick touched on a little bit is, yes, they have a good rush game, but I feel like they're much better when they have a controlled zone time. And if you can eliminate Philadelphia's counterattack, then that takes a lot of the wind out of their sails at times. And I mean, that was what most of their goals were coming from. So hREDS, I like Yoki when he's sneaky and not necessarily on the multiple rushes.
A good opportunity here, and a penalty coming up. Philadelphia going to the power play as Playmaker is able to draw that call. There's a great chance in front early on, and hREDS will go to the box. Not the start they needed. It's the defenseman, King of Apes, who was able to pinch up there and ultimately not get a piece of the puck. So a horrible start for hREDS. They've done well in terms of keeping their discipline. Philadelphia to the power play. One-timer, a gigantic save, and another one off the batted shot. Kona with the glove as well. 3 A-grade chances for Philadelphia in a matter of 5 seconds. What a series of stops, Sim.
Wow, all hail Finn Kona. Unbelievable first save, and then with the follow-up chances as well, keeping those out. Unreal.
Great movement again here from Philadelphia. Down low, Potzloff looking back to the point. Incredible puck movement here on display. Down low, Eki looking across. Potzloff just had it tapped away from him. Playmaker right back in front. Eki again not able to get a piece, and they send that one all the way down. So a very, very nerve-wracking start here for hREDS if you're a supporter of theirs. But so far, so good, at least keeping Philadelphia off the score sheet. Philadelphia, of course, scoring twice in both games to start off this series. That's where things need to go right for hREDS out of the gates.
Yeah, getting that first goal and maintaining that. Try to get 2 before Philadelphia can really start to come back. And I really like that penalty kill from them. I mean, besides obviously those early chances off of the draw, they did a good job of not allowing Philadelphia to really regain that zone. And Nicky Dangles did a great job in one of those zone entries, laying the body and then clearing it out immediately through a guy trying to hold that zone.
Again, a friendly reminder, as well as, of course, Nick and Drew mentioned, an unfortunate offside call again. Our final award nominee coming up as well, Comeback Player of the Year. So excited to see who wins that one. Again, a friendly reminder with the voting coming up now from this point on. Again, all of them as voted on by the players, but it comes down to who is respected from other teams. Again, if you have a nominee up, you weren't allowed to vote in that particular poll. So no team biases at that stage. But we move on here. Eki holding it. Playmaker, great patience, just couldn't pick the corner. Tremendous chance once more. Philadelphia, another shot and another stop by Finn Kona. Incredible effort by the goaltender to start this series, and he's already faced more shots on net in this one than all of us. A bat score! It's King of Apes with the rush, able to find Nicky Dangles in front, and the trend continues. Sin, a great start, no goals, one chance down the other way. And it's hREDS getting the first goal of the game for the first time in this series.
And what a read by King of Apes there to jump up into the play. It was Jay Toro getting caught in a slap shot animation in, near the top of the zone, which actually took him out play. Philadelphia did a decent job of their forwards on the back check to sort of get in the way, but we've seen so often King of Apes, when he's in tight like that, on that short side, he'll make a ridiculous pass or ridiculous shot and find a way to put his team on top. He does it just there. Nicky Dangles finishes it, and it's 1-0 for hREDS.
Remember those saves from Finn Kona? Incredible job by the netminder, and all it took was one rush. King of Apes, we talked about it in the pregame. The record for most goals by a defenseman in a season. And you see why, how offensively oriented he can be at times. Eki with a tour of the zone. Potzloff loses it on the double team, still fighting for it. And Yoki, who's able to come up with it. Benito now looking, trying to hold it along the line. Yoki fires it down low. Nicky Dangles, the goal scorer, just couldn't get there. The chance now down the other way. Playmaker, good possession work. Threw it in front. It will find its way to Potzloff. Back to the point. Slap shot from Eki is blocked and knocked all the way back down to the Philadelphia zone.
Yeah, and right now, hREDS, I like what they're doing. They're starting to get into the shooting lanes here of what Philadelphia was wanting to go for. Is that was a lot of those, at least in the first game, a lot of those lower percentage shots, looking for rebounds, looking to get that going. They didn't need those in the last game, but I like that hREDS starting to take that away too. It's given them a lot of hope that they can come away with this victory. Slowly but surely, they're counteracting what Philadelphia is trying to do.
Eki, playmaker, intercepted. Knocked down by King of Apes, Finn Kona with the cover. So it always seems like whenever either right as you're starting a point or right at the end, it's like, oh hey, let's have a nice little offensive opportunity on one side or the other. It's the most difficult job that I think we have here. Play by play. They never want you to finish your points, I swear. But 6 minutes to go here in the first period. An interception by Eki. Quickly turned back over here. hREDS again playing with the lead for the very first time here in this series. A little bit of trouble there at the line for Philadelphia, though. They maintain possession. Work quickly back into the zone. Great poke check there to take one away. Now under 5 minutes to play. And here come hREDS. Nicky Dangles drops off to the centerman, Benito. Sends it all the way around. Yoki's there. Quickly to Teemu. Has option. D to D. Thrown on. Deflected just high over the blocker. Another good chance there for hREDS. Again, trying to take advantage of the traffic in front. Still in possession. Nicky Dangles nearly worked his way through. Risky play from Jay Toro, but it paid off. Loimu again back over to the defender. Potzloff, good movement here with Eki. Loses it though. Maybe a little bit too fancy from Philadelphia, trying to find these lanes. It'll be another close offside call here against hREDS.
Yeah, for hREDS, I really like that they're starting to get that offensive cycle established again. I think that's when they're at their strongest. We talk about how sometimes they're very similar playstyle-wise to Havu in a lot of ways, and that's where Havu is actually strongest. The down-low cycle, opening space up, trying to get the defense moving laterally as well as the goaltender and getting that, one or two chances on net that can go in for you. I'd like to see them sort of edit that a little bit to start, getting some more of those, lower percentage shots. Just see if they can win some of those loose puck races as well. Keep Philadelphia on their heels in their own end.
Final minute of play here in the first period. Let's see if either team can add to the scoreboard here in the dying moments. Philadelphia, though, offside. 7.4 to go. Still plenty of time. It all starts with this face-off.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are a lot of set plays that you could do. Neutral zone, any zone, really. I mean, these guys have found just about everything. We'll have to see if hREDS are willing to pull one out right here.
They do win the draw. Nicky Dangles can't weave his way through the traffic. 3 seconds. Potzloff with a chance taken away by Teemu. And Sen, how nice it is to say, hREDS in this game, in this series, they have that 1-0 lead at the end of the first.
Yeah, and that's very good. A building block on the road to recovery here, but it's far from over, Still a lot of time left for Philadelphia to not only even this up, but to take the lead as they did in that last game. So, if you're hREDS here, the one goal is nice. Yes, it came on the rush. I still feel like when you get into that back and forth open gameplay, rushes in going to either direction, Philadelphia has the advantage, and in this series have gotten more goals from that. So if you're hREDS, as hard as it can be with how talented you are on the rush, take those chances when they're there, but don't get caught into a rush game. once you can get your attack established, hREDS really are able to maintain that possession and take Philadelphia out of it. And I think we're going to need to see a lot of that from hREDS here, and maybe something that they'll discuss if they see, and are actually seeing from that goal, actually a hook, which led to the goal itself. So interesting. I don't think we caught that. That is very cool to see. And that's what caused it to actually go 5-hole.
Happened very fast there. You have to wonder what would have happened otherwise. Regardless, the scoreboard remains the same. 1-0 hREDS as we head into the second period of play here. Again, Game 3. Our final game of this broadcast. Make sure to join us tomorrow for the conclusion of the series. Couple of kicks at the can, but Finn Kona is able to make the stop there. Again, hREDS looking to make tomorrow a lot more interesting with a 2-1 split. Philadelphia already know they're walking into the games tomorrow with that advantage. Again, a 20 CET start time, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, of course. Let's see who is able to be crowned champions on that day. Championship Saturday. Benito with a rush for hREDS. Tried to drop back to Nicky Dangles, but Eki was there to take that one away. Talk about the responses. Let's see how Philadelphia responds. Again, trailing for the first time in this series. Trailing the first time, of course, entering the second period. As a result, Yoki nearly freed up there by Benito. That was a very good read, though. Potzloff, of course, you can't understate, as underrated as he may be, the defensive contributions from the centerman.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all 3 forwards for Philadelphia are so good on the defensive end of things. I mean, everyone's a threat, and on the forecheck as well. A lot of your defensive skills can translate onto that forecheck. It's just about timing, and playmaker Eki, some of the best timing on the forecheck that you will see in the ECL Elite.
A little bit of trouble here, working their way into the zone, turned over. And here's Yoki with a bit of a step, has a lot of traffic in front of him, though. Nicky Dangles not able to pick that one up. Now a little bit of space for Philadelphia to work with here. Here's Eki. Throws in front. Second chance. Unbelievable stop again by Finn Kona. The initial shot blocked. Went right to the other attacker. And Finn Kona stuck with it.
Wow, you think he's feeling it back there? Another sequence of marvelous saves coming out. Positionally perfect. Reactions perfect so far. He's going to have to keep that up in this tight game.
Here's King of Apes with another burst of speed. Not able to do anything there. Finn Kona giving our pals at the Goalie Guild, the goalie aficionados, plenty of material to work with, of course, with these highlights. So check out the Goalie Guild as well. Their tremendous work. Chance here, and even more tremendous work from Philadelphia. Jay Toro with the goal. A fantastic passing display, and we are tied at 1.
The second best defensive goal scorer in the regular season comes through huge in a big way for his team right there. Sneaking his way in towards that high slot, the drop pass, I mean, near perfection, and that's what happens. You caught hREDS over pursuing a little bit on that back check. So worried about those cross-crease chances and the in-tight opportunities. They lost contain on Jay Toru. As we said, found his way into that high slot, snapped it home. This game is all tied up. Heartbreaking for hREDS.
A tremendous goal there for Jay Toro. His first of the finals. Again, now tied at 1, Philadelphia. Right back in this game. See how this plays out from here. Again, halfway now through regulation. Tied at 1. Here comes Loimu trying to find a little bit of space there. Playmaker Eki still has it. Philadelphia maintains zone control here. Trouble there. Great job by Loimu, at least for the moment. Yoki has that one poked away. So again, Sin, the responses from hREDS right now. Solid defensively for the moment. Of course, it's always worrying at this stage. Struggling to find goals against a top defensive team. Another tremendous stop there by Finn Kona. hREDS in on the attack here. They need something. Not able to find that pass into the middle. Philadelphia all over those chances for the most part. Only really getting caught out on the rush. Yoki takes that one away. But Jay Toro, again, tying goal, and you see the tremendous defensive effort. 5 minutes remaining now, Seth.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, those in-tight chances simply aren't there. I think hREDS need to slow it down a tiny bit once they gain the zone and look for better opportunities.
As Loimu was looking to find the pass in front, what an outlet pass. Yoki's still going to win this race. Around the back, wrap around, second chance. Nicky Dangles looked like he got a piece of it, but Kape was there to make the save.
Yeah, also Benito on the doorstep just in case that puck skittered out a little bit more, but good control from Kape and good awareness to get that cover in the crease.
Also hashtag underrated alongside hashtag Lucan and Wilhelm in chat, of course. To join in on the fun. We thank all of you for being here. Of course, again, the ECL Elite Division, our Season 11 finale series here. Who will take home? And that lion's share of a 15K euro prize pool. 2 minutes to go here in the second. Philadelphia tying this one up, the lone goal of the period. hREDS, though, in on the attack. Benito can't hold it. Nicky dangles, good patience, banks it off the back of the net. Yoki trying to drive into the slot, a couple of chances. Just not coming to fruition there. Final 30 seconds now of this fast final minute. And here's Jay Toro. One more rush attempt here for Philadelphia. Can they find the zone entry? They do. Shot on, big rebound, but Fincona kicked it away. And that will do it for this second period. Sin, we are tied. Heading into the third, a good response indeed from our former champions in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and I'm going to take us back a little bit to that last offensive zone time that hREDS had. Now, what they did before they tried to attack the middle, they kept it around the perimeter. They sent the puck around the boards a few times, you know, just pass back to the point, pass back down low, and, you know, some lateral passes towards the middle, then back out immediately. And what that does, that can take, you know, Philadelphia out of their preferred positions on the collapse. If they're able to sit there and defend, they can get in those passing lanes. They can get in those shooting lanes. They can prevent the cross creases from happening. And that's what hREDS, I think at times when they gain the zone, have tried to force a bit too quickly. You're not going to beat Philadelphia immediately if they're set up. You're going to have to pull them out of position. So that's why we've been seeing some of their, you know, luck coming on the rushes, because Philadelphia maybe not quite in position. They're going to have to do the same thing when they gain that zone. They have to find a way to get the Philadelphia system moving and out of position just slightly, open up the tiniest bit of space, because you're not going to be able to force a pass through, most likely, on this Philadelphia defense. They're just too good, too well organized, and, you know, it's seeming to work for them so far. But when hREDS are able to establish that attack, that's when Philadelphia can, you know, start to get out of position. So I'd like to see that here in the third period for hREDS. Maybe they can get a lead.
So here we go. Third period underway at the Elks Lodge, the lovely Philadelphia home arena here. Let's see how this one plays out. The early rush here. Jay Toro had that tying goal, not able to find space on this attempt. And then it might just come down to who makes that first big mistake. We know that's all these team needs. Or it's all these teams happen to need. Just one chance. That's all it takes. We'll see who breaks first. Again, if we go to overtime, continuous, we'll stay until we have a winner. We've seen triple OT thrillers in the playoffs, so who knows how long it may happen the last. Chance there. Down low, Yoki. Great patience. Puck in front. What a stop if that did indeed find its way to Kape. Incredible job by the netminder to stick with that one. Again, not 100% sure, Sin, if that one hit its intended target there. But if it did, again, what a fabulous stop. These two goaltenders, despite some goals allowed, of course, no one's going to be perfect. Although Kape is about as close as you can get, at least in the regular season. This one just mistimed at the line for Nicky Dangles. Been a lot of close calls there in that regard.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. He got that splits animation, maybe got a pad on it. It was Teemu there sitting backdoor on the pinch on his one time. A perfect pass got through, and I am honestly surprised that wasn't in the back of the net. I'm sure hREDS are thinking the same thing right there. What do we have to do to put a puck home?
Here's Benito, sauced it across. What a attempt there. Kape just going all out, trying to seal off that post. For some very close calls, all things considered, for hREDS in this one. Here's Teemu stepping up, gets around Jay Toro, feed over, great movement, penalty called. That one nearly found its way into the back of the net. hREDS go to the man advantage. It's a tripping call here. Looks like it is indeed going to be against Playmaker. He'll take a seat, and a great opportunity for hREDS to try and take advantage of.
Yeah, another, you know, a pretty big loss for Philadelphia here down the stretch. But what hREDS have to do, win this faceoff, gain possession, really wait for their chance to open up.
Here we go. Great chance here. Teemu, King of Apes, great movement. Knocked down, and Kape just paddles that one aside. King of Apes looking one-timer. What a stop there. May have hit the side of the net, and the puck is cleared. So some clean looks for hREDS. No goals through the first half of this man advantage. See if they can do in the back half here. Drop pass at the line. Great job to free up Teemu. Opportunity here. Shot scores! Nicky Dangles picks the corner. His second of the game. And hREDS re-establish the lead here. A tremendous shot from one of the younger superstars here in the Elite Division, Sin.
Yeah, I mean, that's brilliant. Perfect patience on display right there. Waiting, charging up that wrister, then picking that short side. Kape did everything he could, short of, coming out a little bit. It's a perfectly placed shot. If you're a goaltender, you played it well. It's just the shot was better. A 2-1 lead for hREDS. Still half a period left to play, though. Philadelphia, we've seen them do crazy things. 1 goal to come back for them, not so crazy at all.
As has been mentioned here, there's really not much that Kape could have done there. Aside from, again, if you're a little bit more aggressive, you might get caught moving to begin with. Certainly we give up that passing option. Space here for Jay Toro. Still fighting for it down low. Nearly turned over right to Potzloff. And a rough call there. Finn Kona able to make the stop, though. He's covered up alongside the side of his goal.
Yeah, very dangerous bounce right there. Potzloff almost a recipient of some tremendous luck. Fortunately, hREDS dodged the bullet. We'll see if they can clear this zone. No, they can't.
Down low, Potzloff across. Recovered there. Great job by Teemu. Take away that pass under 8 minutes here now. hREDS trying to make sure that we can say that we have a series heading in to tomorrow's finale. D-to-D pass here. Teemu back down low to Yoki. Can't get a handle on it. Got caught up in the skates. Potzloff again, same issue there. A bit too much traffic. Yoki picks it off. A near breakaway. Jay Toro, one of the biggest defensive stops of this game. Great effort by him to get back in the play.
Yeah, just getting that defensive skill stick into the probable skating lane, looking for some contact. Got it right there.
Eki trying to hold it along the half wall, battling with King of Apes. Rifled back to the point. Breakaway bid here. It's Yoki. Can Jay Toro catch him? He tried the tuck and it goes just wide. Great pressure again from Jay Toro. 4 minutes to play here in regulation. hREDS desperate to hold on. Desperate to find an insurance goal. They nearly had it there with Teemu on the short side. Down the other way. 4-man rush opportunity. Playmaker puck is loose. Still sweeping at it. And Finn Kona comes up with the cover with 2:59 to play.
And exhale. That one was scary. Another bouncing puck situation. Finn Kona sliding to the left, fortunately, with the puck in his mitt to get the cover. And we're going to see that timeout coming here from Philadelphia. They need to throw everything at the wall right now. But I loved it coming out from hREDS. It was a little nerve-wracking seeing Teemu down low, pinching in a game. That's as close as it is, but that's confidence coming out from hREDS. They know what they need to do to get that offense going, getting guys down low, getting the defense involved, trying to keep those cycles alive, get not only move the puck quickly but move bodies quickly as well. That's just as important.
High up off the draw, puck down low in the corner. Under 3 to play now here in regulation game 3. Our Elite Division finals here with the ECL. King of Apes down around the back of the net, trying to hold on to it. Great recovery there by Loimu. And the attack goes the other way. Playmaker looking, trying to get that pass across. We approach the final minute. Jay Toro can't get it through. Breakaway. Nicky Dangles all alone. Denied on the backhand by Kape. What a stop. Is that what Philadelphia needed? Nicky Dangles and Benito just trying to hold it down low. The pressure from Philadelphia wins it back. 45 to play now. And a near offside call. Somehow, someway they hold it. Chance shot, scores! Playmaker ties it up in the final minute. Unbelievable stuff by Kape one way. And we're tied at 2.
And just like that, one of the best improved two-way players gets himself on a breakaway from an excellent read, intercepting the point-to-point pass, but a better save by Kape. Back the other way, as you mentioned, just held in at the blue line. Hard to tell how that was even done. Excellent timing from Philadelphia, getting an in-tight chance. And guess who? Playmaker tying this game up, and that hurts if you're hREDS.
You get another look at the goal here. Just a little bit of space through the traffic. Knocked off. Benito had it for a moment, just taken away. Sin, the chain reaction of incidental contacts, but it all started off of the save in the back end on the breakaway. Kape doing what he does best. What an incredible turn of events that was here. 39 seconds to go. We are tied at 2. Incredible is the only word that describes it. the next goal, most certainly to win it. 30 seconds left in regulation. Overtime is not a guarantee. Space here. Playmaker shot stopped by Fincona. And another close call there for hREDS.
Yeah, almost thought that Philadelphia was going to look to shot clock it, which I thought was a bit of a dangerous notion considering how good hREDS can be at forcing those, but the quick look up the middle leads to a nice shot. See if hREDS can get this puck out. Dangerous pass right there, a bit of a self-pass it ended up for King of Apes, and carefully trying to navigate their way out of the zone. Looks like it'll go
10 seconds, one more rush for Philadelphia. Can they win it in regulation to take a 3-0 lead? Knocked back out to the neutral zone. Overtime is on the agenda as Playmaker ties it with 39 seconds to go. An incredible never say die performance from Philadelphia.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about so often this team continuously playing buzzer to buzzer every single period. Doesn't matter if they're down, doesn't matter if they're up. They're always looking to score more. They're always looking to play their game, and that's why they are here once again in the finals. Philadelphia, putting on essentially a clinic of what it takes to play at this level, and hREDS are getting a first-hand look. It seemed to be that they would come out of that, getting the victory. It just, even with that zone entry, looking like they could hold it down low, then Philadelphia on a quick counterattack, and it wasn't like hREDS were out of position. They were there. They tried to hold the blue line. The puck got in. They tried to guard the slot. The puck still got there. The pass went across. Fincona tried to get to it. It just wasn't quite enough, and the game is tied here. Overtime on the menu. It doesn't get much more exciting unless you're hREDS. Again, this is a must-win situation for them. They need to find one more. All you need is one goal. You're right back into it. It's do or die time for them.
Absolutely. Again, you talk about it. Down 3-0 to Philadelphia, needing to win 4 in a row tomorrow. Don't know. You had Drew talking about betting lines at times earlier in this broadcast. Don't know what he'd put that particular line at. I'll tell you what, though, the odds would not be in hRED's favor. Here we go. Overtime. It is time. Let's see how this one plays out. Pass across, and Kape just able to seal the post. hREDS nearly winning it 32 seconds into the overtime.
Yeah, we've seen both teams go for that right off that opening faceoff. They're not trying to settle in. They're looking. They're going for the throat immediately.
Indeed, a chance here. Nicky Dangle's in front. Loose puck still bouncing around. Shot the big rebound. Nobody there to take advantage of that one. Benito in a battle along the half wall. Again, able to win it with the strength. Teemu down low into the corner of the pinch. Out to the other side. King of Apes is there. Tries to go to Benito. A little bit of trouble, but still holding on to it. Down low into the corner and again back to the point. Good movement here from hREDS, trying to find a little bit of space. King of Apes nearly got that one-timer off. Here's Playmaker. Nowhere to go. hREDS able to recover, but they turn it over. Potzloff toe drag and tried to pick the top corner. Still Philadelphia in on the attack. Eki looking. Intercepted. Here goes Yoki. Can Jay Toro catch him? Spin move, and he can't get the shot off on target. What an attempt. Intercepted around the back of the net. Benito recovers. Backdoor pass. What a stop. Second chance denied. Kape standing on his head here in overtime. Back down the other way. Philadelphia time it. Shot denied. Fincona with the save. Another chance is taken away. Unbelievable. Here's Playmaker circling, looking. Throws it in front. Loose puck bouncing around. Eki still has it and tries to feed it back to the point. It doesn't go. Unbelievable is the only word here, Sin.
The goaltenders, man, they are just standing on their heads. Unreal performance by both of these guys. It's a travesty that this game will eventually end. They are putting on a clinic of goaltending.
Eki has it, shot on, knocked down. A couple of chances there for Philadelphia don't go through. As Benito not able to hold it, the offside call there.
Wow, I'm going to give you a chance to breathe because I think you need it after that sequence. Unreal job here, but now things settling down just a bit. Both teams got to keep their wits about them and not allow an easy chance the other way.
Funny thing is, I thought I'd be saving my voice for tomorrow's championship round, and then all of a sudden this overtime starts. And here we go. About 5 high-quality scoring chances in a matter of 10 seconds. How fast can you talk? I feel like the Micro Machines guy. Drew, that reference is for you. We march on here in this overtime. 8.5 minutes to play. Philadelphia trying to get in over the line. They do. Hot slot for Playmaker. The cut, the pass back, and Eki just misses the inside of the post. Yoki tries to send it down the other way. A lot of traffic for Philadelphia, though very defensively responsible at this stage. 7 minutes to go in this overtime. Again, poked away at the point. Jay Toro having to keep his eye on Yoki. Loimu with a little bit of trouble, of course, at times. How could there not be? Shot deflection. Bid doesn't go. Vincona, another great stop. Eki down low in the corner. Around the back. Yo, what a chance there. Almost went. Yoki nearly freed up the other way. What an opportunity on both sides here. Chance now for Yoki again. Nicky Dangles is there on the doorstep. Puck around the back of the net. He's recovered by Jay Toro. 4 minutes to play in OT1. Will hREDS get back into the series and avoid disaster? Or will Philadelphia take that commanding 3-0 series lead? Space here for Loimu, pinching in. Has a chance, throw back, blocker, stop there by Vincona. Great save by the netminder. Playmaker a chance, can't get it through the traffic. He's still fighting for it. King of Apes handles that well. 2 minutes to go now of real time. Yoki back to the point, shot from Teemu. Nicky Dangles was on the doorstep. Just couldn't get a piece of it, and they settle things down perhaps to regain just a little bit of stamina. Probably needed at this stage. Playmaker fighting for it. Poked away by King of Apes, but dished back to the point. Slap shot there. Playmaker on the doorstep for that deflection, but it never saw its way to Vincona.
Both Teemu and King of Apes. Both Teemu and King of Apes, tremendous job to clear the crease right now. No secondary opportunities, as well as intercepting those cross-crease passes that we saw from Teemu just a bit earlier.
The big windmill deke from Playmaker doesn't pay off. Teemu a little bit of trouble there. Risky turnover. Eki back to the point, intercepted. Yoki, does he have the speed? Bouncing around. And nearly again. You talk about it. Jay Toro and Loimu playing with fire. 1 minute to go here in overtime. One-timer just wide of the post. What a chance there. Back down the other way. hREDS forced to settle it down just a little bit. Again, a missed pass between Teemu and King of Apes, stunting this breakout a little bit. Apes, though, able to find Nicky Dangles. Trouble poked away. Breakaway for Playmaker. King of Apes there. Pass shot, scores! Eki buries it. 42 to go in overtime. Philadelphia take a 3-0 series lead here in the Elite Division Finals. 1 win away from being crowned champions.
And just like that, it's as quick as it happens. A great job from King of Apes to get back on that play, but who else would it be? The partners in crime, Playmaker and Eki on the 2-on-1. Great job to delay, wait for the pass, angle himself, try to get King of Apes to commit to one of them. He does that. The pass goes over, and it's in. Heartbreaker for hREDS. But let's just give credit where credit's due. Kape, that sequence of saves. I mean, Vincona at the other side, also the sequence of saves, keeping that game alive, but that could have well and truly been over had it not been from Kape. I mean, we're seeing now, though he doesn't have those regular season numbers because the team in front of him is just so good. This is how good of a goaltender this guy is. This is how good of a goaltender both of these guys are. As pointed out in chat, you got two Vasilevskis out there. Yeah. I don't know any better comparison. What a performance from the goaltenders, and heartbreaking here for hREDS. Look at just how close it was coming off of the toe.
Well, thank God it's two Vasilevskis and not two Martin Jones, although the high-scoring affairs would be great to watch, don't you think?
Appreciate that. One Martin Jones is too many.
Sin, I mean, what can you say about that? The stop late in the third period by Kape, robbing Nicky Dangles on the breakaway, and then down the other way, Philadelphia is able to tie it, and then they win it late in overtime. We talk about the mentality, the chess match side of this game. For hREDS tomorrow, you have less than 24 hours to regroup, knowing that you face, again, a nearly insurmountable task. Like, I might have a better chance of making it up Mount Everest on one of those scooters you're on in gym class. You know those little four-wheeled scooters you sit on there? I might have a chance of rolling myself up Everest than they have of coming back in this series that is how one-sided the odds are going to be heading into tomorrow. This is a devastating loss for their championship aspirations.
And you know what? I really thought they were going to come away with it. They had so many chances, so many good looks, so many close calls. It's just that, I mean, it was Kape. At the end of the day, he made some incredible saves. And not only that, J. Toro Loimu, anytime there was a bit of a breakdown, anytime it looked like Yoki could have been in all alone, it was 2 defensive skill sticks boxing him in, forcing him to try to play that north-south game. It just didn't work out. And yeah, you said it. It is a steep mountain to climb, the biggest mountain to climb, coming back from Philadelphia down 3-0.
So, Sin, with that here, any further talking points before we throw it back to Drew and Nick? I know I could normally sit here and talk for a while, but I need to go take a walk or something after that. I need to cool down after that overtime. That was an incredible pace. It sets the stage for tomorrow, like we said, again, 2:20 CET start time, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the North American side of things for the remainder of this series. We will see if Philadelphia indeed regain their crown or if hREDS can make it a series. Then again, any parting words here before we throw it to break, and then of course throw it to Drew and Nick for the postgame.
Yeah, well, as we get set up for all that, I think the only consolation that hREDS can take from this, every single game is 1 goal. Every single game separated by bounces or tremendous saves. So you're right there. The problem is you didn't win one of them, and that's the worst part, is that you played good enough to win and you didn't. And that's I don't know what else to say. That just hurts if you're hREDS.
Absolutely. So again, with that, Sin and I done here for this particular broadcast. Sin, it certainly lived up to the hype, to say the least. Again, can't wait to be back tomorrow for the conclusion of this series. It is up to hREDS to continue it beyond just one game. We'll see how that all plays out. Again, for us, we thank you. Again, you can follow us on Twitter at Sin for the Win Productions and on YouTube as well, or Sin for the Win Prod, Sin for the Win Productions on YouTube.
It's on screen. They're fine.
Yeah, they get it. Well, there's a 5-letter difference on YouTube. They might not be able to find you, knowing YouTube's algorithms. Speaking of YouTube, of course, make sure to follow us at NHL Gamer on YouTube. Thank you for 1K subs on that platform. I'm everywhere at Tuki24. Let's throw it to Wilhelm, Drew, and Nick on the flip side here. Again, we thank you for joining us. We will see you tomorrow.
Wilhelmin ykköskentän pakkeina uudet tulokkaat. Sour Cream Snacks ja Flaming Hot Snacks. Kotikatsomoissa mukana Wilhelm Snacksit.
I didn't call that game, but I feel as out of breath as Sin and Tugi after that one. Nick, wow. The way that game went.
I typed to you in our chat together because we can type offline just a bunch of letters and numbers and symbols. And then you responded in kind with letters and numbers and symbols. And I think betwixt the two of us, we outlined at least 700 exclamation points during that last sequence in that overtime period, culminating with the Eki goal for the game winner. But everything leading up to that was insane.
Just completely unreal game. I mean, the way that went from start to finish in game 3, I mean, you had hREDS taking a lead into an intermission, which was a first for the series. And then Philadelphia ties it in the second. They're 1-1 after 2. hREDS ends up with a power play goal only to give up the game. I mean, that sequence to tie it in regulation, that alone was just jaw-dropping insanity. And then to follow that up with the overtime that we had, I mean, this is why Philadelphia has as many wins as they do and rarely loses, almost never loses games. They just play like that. It is a situation where this is a team that could be down to its final minute in a game and not just come back to tie it, but then in overtime could put together the runs they did. Their goaltending is unreal. And yeah, 2 Vasilevskis might be an understatement. Both of these goaltenders, Kape and Fincona, even as being referred to as Andre Vasilevsky-esque, may still be have been snubbed as not being the most underrated goaltender in the league after that performance.
Yeah, hats off to both goalies for playing outstanding hockey in overtime to allow both their teams the chance to win that game. Pretty much considered the crucial game of the series now that it's 3-0 in favor of Philadelphia.
Yeah, and we have a lot that we want to talk about with this game. Hopefully, get some an interview or two. But we want to wrap up one more award that we had the nominees for earlier. It is Comeback Player of the Season for the ECL Elite, and these were the 5 nominees. And just as a big Star Wars fan, I mean, I guess I'd have a rooting interest because I do happen to really like that shirt that you see on Dillinger over there. But Nick, again, I'll do the drum roll. Who is the Comeback Player of the Season for the ECL Elite?
Sure, Drew. Happy to give us the winner here. Your winner of ECL Elite's Comeback Player of the Season, presented by Wilhelm, is right there for you. Easy. Juho getting the Comeback Player of the Season. Congratulations to you. And congratulations to all the winners of all the awards today. And we have more in store.
Yeah, we got plenty more awards that'll be coming up tomorrow, and however many games we end up with in that broadcast. Only guaranteed one. hREDS in that unfortunate position of being down 3-0 after game 3. And I mean, they held the lead for a moment in game 2, but here in game 3, it was looking like they were going to get on the board and make that a 2-1 series. And Philadelphia is going to do Philadelphia things. And so not quite a 2-1 series. Difficult position for hREDS to be in, but I mean, boy, if you needed an example as to why Philadelphia is the unbelievable team that they are, game 3 of this series.
Game 3 of this series, indeed. And for hREDS, Jay-Z's The Gift and the Curse come to my mind when I think about this. And there's my third hip-hop reference for the broadcast, in that hREDS, pretty much their offensive counterattack is their best thing they have going for them. But then on the other side, counterintuitively, it's the worst thing. They were playing almost at times where they had like 5 forwards up on the ice, and they gave up chances where they're caught. It takes just a split second, and the speed of Philadelphia, the go burr that we said in the keys to the game, did do hREDS in ultimately in this final game. Eki puts one home, as Eki does. That's what Eki does in overtime. So everything didn't go their way the way they wanted to for hREDS, but there is another day, and we've seen crazier things happen.
Yeah, and actually, when we were in the chat, I asked you going in overtime who your pick for each side was, the little Butchie overtime challenge type thing. You did call Eki, so congratulations to that. Try to convince John Butchergrass to send you a T-shirt if you want. I'll
Twitter DM him. It'll go swimmingly, I'm sure.
Or you could probably buy one off his website for like $10 or something like that. But you earned it with that, and Philadelphia earned their 3-0 series lead. And for hREDS, I mean, it has happened. It is one of the most rare things to see in sports, is to do the reverse sweep, down 3-0, win 4 straight. And it's kind of tough. And going back to your point, I get why hREDS wouldn't have let up late in the third period, because that's one of those things where if you try to change the style that got you that 2-1 lead, it could cost you your 2-1 lead. And instead, they ended up keeping that pressure, that energy, playing essentially 5 forwards at times, and it allowed Philadelphia to tie the game. But at the same time, Philadelphia being as good as they are, if hREDS had decided to do the prevent defense, so to speak, it's, I know that your Buccaneers just won a Super Bowl. So if you try to go prevent defense to maintain that lead, all you're doing is gifting Philadelphia time in the offensive end. And, so I kind of get both ends of that. It's a bit of a double-edged sword on that. And, the decision they made, Philadelphia got back into it. But Philadelphia is the kind of team that have gotten back into it regardless.
Yeah, they answer really well. And that all came, keep in mind, from Yoki had a speeding rush, and it led to a Kape save. A couple of minutes later, Nikki Dangles had a breakaway. Kape shut the door down, and right off the back of that was the goal that tied the game for Playmaker. And that was because of those quick counter breaks. And you just have to be able to manage that as you go through a game, knowing where you're at in the game, knowing what's on the line. I think you have to make that call and say, okay, I have to alter what I'm doing just a little bit longer, because maybe a couple more seconds in the offensive end buys time to get those defensive people back in position. Ultimately, didn't do it there.
And Cape's big save on that, basically a 2-goal shift, keeping one out leads to the goal that ties it at 2. Nick and I will be back in just a little bit. We are working on setting up an interview with Philadelphia, who has a 3-0 series lead after day 1 of the ECL Elite Season 11 Championship. We'll be back in just a moment.
Wilhelmin ykköskentän pakkeina uudet tulokkaat. Sour Cream Snacks ja Flaming Hot Snacks. Kotikatsomoissa mukana Wilhelm Snacks.
We're back. Drew and Nick now joined by the star goaltender for Philadelphia, Cape. And hey, first, congratulations on picking up this 3-0 series lead after day 1. Take us through your perspective for that late third period and overtime. Especially, we want to talk about that tying goal, because Nick and I have been talking about that for a bit. You made a big save on that breakaway. What was going through your mind as you're seeing the opposition approach, down 1 goal with about a minute left?
Yeah, I just thought I need to save this so P can score.
I mean, simple enough, and it certainly worked.
Yeah, short and to the point, Cape. Always a pleasure to be able to talk to you, as you know. What is it like playing against a team like hREDS, who plays a different style than what most teams in the ECL Elite do, where they focus a lot on their counter breaks? So it's a lot of quick rushes, back and forth. I saw a couple of saucer passes. Did you change what you do to counter what they do, or do you just kind of hope that they that you capitalize on mistakes that they make?
I played with these guys for was it like 1 year ago, 1.5 years ago. So I know them pretty well. I think they are like the most skilled team in all of the like ESL, like especially offensively. So it's really tough to play against them. So you always got to be prepared. Like it can come like a pass that's you can't read, but I think that my defensemen, especially Loiman Toro, did a huge job in front of me and helping me with like just focusing on like getting shots outside of the crease. So I think that my teammates helped me a lot to get those wins today.
We were talking going into game 1 of this series that one of the 2 goaltenders, either yourself or Fincona, in this series could kind of set a tone by taking a goal off the board early on in game 1. And with the way that game started, that fell on you. Did you feel that going into game 1 early on in today's contest, with just trying to make that first big save to get that big momentum swing for your team?
Of course, I always want to like play on my like highest level to make my teammates feel comfortable so that they can play on the highest level. But I think, as I said earlier, like all these 3 games, they are team performances. Like why we won the first game was that we defended so good. They took a lot of shots outside of the crease. So I think it's a team effort, all of these 3 games.
And not that we're not used to Philadelphia playing just exquisitely well through this entire season and before, but game 4 is upon us tomorrow. You guys are up 3-0. Tell me about what that feeling is in party chat, knowing you have 3 games in hand going into another day of competition.
Of course, it's a great feeling. But we also know, like we saw in the last finals, that Habu was up 3-0 and we came back to 3-3. So we know that when we're playing against a team like Reds, we need to be prepared always. We can't feel like, we're going to win this. Like we need to take 1 game at a time. And of course, we want to finish it right away and get a sweep. But it's not going to be easy. I know that the hREDS will probably analyze their game today and see what they can do different. And I'm sure that they will come back tomorrow even hungrier and feel like we take also like 1 game at a time and we make them a little bit nervous. But I feel confident. We are playing really good at the moment. And it's a really good atmosphere in our team also. Like we have played together for over a year now. And after a goal, like it's such a great feeling with the team. Like everyone is supporting each other so good. Like it's basically never quiet. Like we can laugh in a 2-2 game when it's tight. Like we are so relaxed at the moment. So it feels really, really, really good.
Does that relaxed feeling carry over to tomorrow? Like, will you be able to stay relaxed for the next 24 hours until you get into that game? Because, I mean, with the chance to close it out in 4 games, I guess being relaxed would seemingly be a really big benefit if you can keep that energy going through tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that all of our players in our team have played a lot of finals, so we have that experience. You know, like to be calm in like those situations. So I think that we will remain calm, and hopefully we will get the win in the first game. But if not, we will be calm and take one game at a time.
Well, Kape, again, congratulations on your trip this far, and congrats to the entire team. Of course, we look forward to seeing another goalie battle next tomorrow. Actually, 3 more games if necessary, or 4 more games if necessary. 3 and for you. And thanks again for your time.
Thank you. Shout out to Goalie Guild.
Shout out to Goalie Guild indeed. Drew, I think we have one more interview after this, but we're going to take a quick break first, right?
Yep, we'll be right back with plenty more. We're going to be talking with a member of hREDS, King of Apes. Will be joining us in just a moment to give us his thoughts as he goes in to tomorrow trying to do the opposite and complete the reverse sweep of Philadelphia. Nick and I will be back in just a moment.
Parasta purtavaa kauden kovimpiin koitoksiin. Sour Cream Snacks ja Flaming Hot Snacks. Kotikatsomoissa mukana Wilhelm Snacksit.
Drew Goldfarb, Nick DeMeo, back with you here after day 1 of 2 of this ECL Elite Championship Series. And Nick, now we get to be joined by someone from the hREDS side of things. We heard from him earlier today, as well as I got to chat with King of Apes going into this series as we welcome in here to our broadcast. So we appreciate you joining us here after this game. Just take us through kind of the end of that third game, because obviously it was a really big opportunity for you guys in game 3. Just kind of what was the strategy that you guys were taking into that third period when you guys had the lead against Philadelphia?
Just to protect the lead, nothing too special, but obviously we didn't make it, and yeah, feels bad.
Feels bad for sure, and obviously being down 3-0, it's a long road ahead tomorrow, but we've seen it happen and get close before. What's the conversation like going into tomorrow? Do you just play your game? Do you make adjustments? What's the decisions there?
We will see. We have to analyze those games, and but I think we played quite good, even though we lost 3 games. I just feel we played good, but it still wasn't enough. So have to analyze the games and think where we're gonna improve our game. But yeah, it's gonna be a challenge. I was expecting us to have a little more difficulties, but yeah, well, we lost 3 games, so yeah. We have to just play one game at a time and try to concentrate on winning that. And it's not impossible, but it's sure hard, but we can do it.
Considering how close all 3 of these games were, can you take something from that you knew that you were right there? I mean, every single game was decided by a single goal, the third one in overtime. How much of that can you take with you into tomorrow, into game 4, the confidence to know that I mean, you guys were hanging with Philadelphia even in the games that you lost. You guys are right there with them, right down to the wire. Does that kind of help in your approach for tomorrow at all?
Yeah, obviously. We know the games are tied, and we could easily won 1 or 2 games, but it didn't go our way. But yeah, I think it's at least better that way. It was tight. We'll see.
Talk me through how proud you must be as part of a team with someone like Finn Kona mending the pipes there. Heck of a lot of great saves from him, kind of giving your team a boost there later into the game, especially in game 2 or game 3. How important is that for a defensive person like you to trust your goalie to make those saves?
Yeah, it's very important. Kona played good, and but as a defenseman, I will try to give the opponent no chances. So every chance they get, I'm kind of failed at that point. But yeah, Kona played good, and we need good goaltender to be able to reverse sweep those guys.
And that all obviously starts with game number 4 tomorrow. That'll be the first game that we have in the broadcast. What kind of thing can you guys do in that first period right out of the gates? Because we saw going into game 1 here, it ended up being goaltenders making particularly crazy saves to kind of set a tone early on today. What can you guys do, you specifically even, tomorrow early in game 4 to set the tone for tomorrow's action?
I think we must defend a little bit more, or at least better, because we let at least 2 goals against Fila, so it's very hard to win when you let 2 goals. But yeah, good defense. Try to just score at all places what we can get. But oh boy, Kappe has been so great. So he's on fire. So it's kind of hard. But we will try to expose him somehow. But no luck so far.
Well, no luck so far, but 4 games ahead. We know that your club has the firepower to do that. So good luck tomorrow, King of Apes, and we're hoping the best for you. And we'll check out what happens and the adjustments you guys make in the 4 games tomorrow for the ECL.
Yeah, thank you.
And King of Apes, we appreciate him joining us, as well as Kappe earlier on. And Nick, just kind of wrapping things up a bit. 3 games down. At least 2 of them really could have gone either way. We could be looking at a 2-1 series for hREDS. We could be looking at a 2-1 series for Philadelphia. We end up with a 2 or 3-0 series rather for Philadelphia instead. I mean, it was a day where, I mean, like I said, I think that there was only game 2 realistically, and hREDS actually had a lead in game 2 at one point that looked like Philadelphia kind of had control of it late. I mean, just this series, it looks like it is pretty lopsided at 3-0, but the way that we saw hREDS play and the way that this series could have gone very differently today, just with a couple of extra bounces or a penalty shot award, I mean, tomorrow we could still see quite a bit tomorrow.
I think so too. And when we talk about NHL 21, it's a little different than when we talk about the traditional sense of what hockey is on the ice with 12 people against each other, 18 aside. It's a little different. The bounces can happen randomly. The home ice advantage changes a little bit. And what it comes down to is just, again, going back to what we said in the opening, capitalizing on mistakes when they happen and making sure you put it home. hREDS had 4, 5, 6 chances a game on those quick counterattacks, and they just could not get past Kappe. If they can get through that, like I keep saying, they can solve it. Yoki has the firepower to do so. Benito can score. Nicky Dangles came through big time when he needed to here. So there's opportunity there, but that last second save turned it around and allowed Playmaker to score and tie it. So I believe in hREDS to be able to win if pressed against 4 of these, at least 2, if not more. But I also know that Philadelphia is not going to take this line down. They are determined to just put the door down in this first game tomorrow.
Yeah, and kind of going to what King of Apes was saying about trying to expose Kappe and trying to get to him early. And I think that is one of those things that if you can get on the board quick, do something in the first period of game 4 to basically set that tone and send the message that they're not going to go away quietly. This is not going to be an easy 4-game win for Philadelphia. I think that can go a long way in extending the life of this series. And basically, if you win 1, you can win 1 more. And if you can win 1 more, you could win another one. And then you're in a position where, if you do that, if you pull that out, obviously you might have a shot here. It's one of the it is the most difficult thing to do in sports. It's to win 4 straight with your back against the wall down 3-0. It's possible. It seems very, very, very difficult. But if you can somehow rattle the unrattleable goaltender of Philadelphia, you might be able to set that tone and carry it for at least a few games.
The Goliath does have a weakness. It may not be in the Achilles heel, but there is a way to find room behind Kappe. It's just a matter of if and when that may happen for hREDS.
Well, we really appreciate you all joining us here for this broadcast of day 1 of the ECL Season 11, the ECL Elite Season 11 Championship Series. We really appreciate Sin and Tukey. They'll be back tomorrow for the calls on Game 4 and whatever is necessary beyond that, 5, 6, and 7 as well. He is Nick DeMeo. I'm Drew Goldfarb. We will join you tomorrow for pregame, between games, postgame, celebration, wrap up the award of a huge winners Lions share of this 15,000 euro championship pot. We'll be back tomorrow with that. We hope to see you then. It is a 3-0 series lead for Philadelphia. hREDS looking to make a comeback tomorrow.
Parasta purtavaa kauden kovimpiin koitoksiin. Sour Cream Snacks ja Flaming Hot Snacks. Kotikatsomoissa mukana Wilhelm Snacksit.